It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now,
making Mike's up.
ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Good Thursday to you. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B today. Not for long, though.
Why is that?
We're going to let Jimmy leave a little early today because he's all concerned about the weather and that he is going to have problems driving home today. So we got to take care of our elderly. We need to get you home in time so you can get to that early dinner.
Buffet, the early buffet.
The blue plate special, Rock. It's the blue plate special. Didn't you grow up in Northwest America?
Look,
Seattle,
Portland.
Seriously,
driving in rain and snow is nothing to me.
Then why are you bitching about it?
Because you guys, in your big-ass trucks.
I don't drive a truck.
I don't drive a truck.
You do have that Rivian.
It's an SUV.
Oh, okay. Well, it's big. So from that standpoint,
why don't you get rid of that clown car, the Yugo, and get something bigger so you have some balls when you're driving.
The Yugo.
I mean, seriously, he has
a two-door coupe.
He has a clown car. It's like one of those little tiny Yugos, and that's why you guys shouldn't even be allowed on the road.
Is that a two-banger? Two cylinders in that?
That's not what she said.
It's so wide that it basically just fits in the bike lane. That's how small it is.
Is that the compact car parking right there?
It's just it's guys like you that bitch about other people driving. You're the problem.
No, dude, you're going to be doing 85, and it's going to be wet
in the HOV lane, baby.
No,
That's the best thing. That's the best thing about having an electric car. Why? No, electric cars, you get to do that. How do you not know that? You're liberal. How do you not know that?
They get the green light.
What does liberal have to do with
Because it's a liberal thing. Teslas and electric cars and all that.
I like electric cars.
Of course you do.
It'll probably be my next car.
So
but they don't make
tell them, Rock,
but
about
electric
the
cars, they don't make sports type cars.
Yes, they do. They have the Mustang. They have the Mach. There's tons of the Audi, the Porsche. You are so clueless. You can't throw a blanket statement and you don't know what you're talking about.
What Porsche is electric?
Google it. It's called the internet. There's
sports car. The Boxster, for an example, is
I don't know
Porsche.
The exact model, but I'll find out.
I know the models. Look, I used to have a 926. Okay,
926.
Yes, Porsche 926. See, Manuch knows what it is.
Yeah. Wish I could afford, but Jimmy, just so you know, electric cars are allowed.
Is it is it called Macan or it's a MACAN? Why do you say that?
What are you talking
about?
The
Porsche. You know all the Porsches. You should know it.
Boxster.
No, it's called a Macan.
The Macan.
I don't know
Macan
what that
4
is.
electric. I mean, there's a ton of.
Is it a sports car?
Yes, it's a Porsche.
Well, that doesn't mean because it's a Porsche, it doesn't mean it's a sports car.
Yes, it does.
Most Porsches are sports cars. We have a couple sedans.
Also, they have a huge sedan,
Porsche
right here called the.
My big ass electric car.
Somebody help me! I can't do this all by myself. A Taycan turbo.
Yes,
it's electric
turbo. Yeah.
I mean, seriously. You can't throw out a blanket statement and really not know what the hell you're talking about.
I just did it.
Yeah.
There are so many electric sports cars.
Well, then I will have to examine that then when I'm done with this one.
But, Jimmy, just again, if you get an electric car, you're allowed to drive in the HOV lane. Just so you know.
Okay.
Been like that for 2-3 years now.
It is the only reason I have an electric car.
That's the only reason?
Only reason.
Wow.
I'm serious.
You are
the only reason.
You are selfish.
Why? I was going 55 miles one way to work every day at the park from North Scottsdale to East Mesa, at Queen Creek.
Sure.
That you're in the I-10, or you're in the the 101 to the 202.
Yep.
You get in that left lane, baby. See ya. Radar detectors going. I mean, yeah, that is exactly the only reason.
Wow. Okay.
And it wasn't a money thing. I mean, sure, you save a lot of money. I don't have.
Right.
I haven't been to a Circle K in 5 years, but Yeah, it's all about the
and eliminating carbon monoxide in the air, all that kind of stuff.
I know you do.
It's not my thing. I don't believe in the whole.
It's our thing, though.
Yeah, the thing,
but we're going to keep drilling, which is good.
Yeah, as long as we do it in our own country, it'll be fine.
We're going to have to.
Yeah, it's about time.
Yeah, nobody else wants to come here.
So good. All right, let's get to some of the topics today here at Twin Peaks, Scottsdale. I do want to start with this. It's their St. Patty's drink specials and costume party, which is going on right now through Monday.
Yeah.
Jameson, green teas, the Irish car bombs, the thin minis, the Scooby snacks, all on sale. All kinds of food specials, of course, bottles of and beers of Guinness. They have it all, and all the girls are all dressed up in their green. So come on out and join us. We'll be here till 4 o'clock at the Scottsdale location. Great place to watch all the conference championships this weekend, as well as we're going to get into a lot of that today, as we saw at least one of our alma maters having some success yesterday in Jackson, Montana.
Yep.
So that was kind of nice.
We got hammered. K-State got hammered by Baylor.
Oh, they did.
It was ugly. Man, oh, man. Well, we enjoyed it while we could, beating ASU, little ASU. So Cats are gone. Hopefully, maybe we sneak in the back door. I doubt it.
GCU will play the winner of tonight's quarterfinal between California Baptist and Tarleton State. As last night they took care of business as they beat UT Arlington 98-75 in the WAC quarterfinal. They're a number 2 seed, so it's good to see them advance. I believe they'll play Friday. After tonight's game between the Cal Baptist and T-State. So tonight, Arizona and Kansas. That game is on at 6:30 on ESPN as the Arizona Wildcats begin their Big 12 tournament against number 6 seed Kansas Jayhawks. This game is a rematch of the regular season finale where Kansas took the Cats 83-76.
So a lot of good basketball to play. Duke, their big boy, got rolled the ankle.
Cooper Flag.
Looks like they might hold him out throughout the tournament, get ready for next week.
They have to.
I would say the same thing.
Just sucks because he probably would have won the conference MVP.
Sure.
He would have got all the accolades. It would have been great for him to have that. It's just unfortunate. The best player in all basketball, college basketball, and we're not going to see him.
Right.
And who knows how bad this is. I mean, he was hurt when he came off today.
He rolled it pretty good.
He did. After they got him underneath, away from the crowd, they put him in a wheelchair and rolled him back. The good news is that they did a X-ray and it was negative.
Good.
So that's a plus.
3 minutes.
What else
3
do we
minutes.
have here?
The Suns suck.
Well, let's at least get out unfortunate news about Oliver Miller passing away yesterday, part of the 1993 NBA Finals team. He passed away at the age of 54. He was at one point, he was the heaviest player in the league.
Yeah.
But he was somebody that didn't start any games for the Suns back in 93. But boy, was he was a threat in those finals against the Chicago Bulls. I mean, he played really well. He came in there and was a major spark. Unfortunately, they did not end up winning against the Bulls. But Oliver Miller, who played for the Suns twice, he played for the Detroit Pistons. He played for Toronto, Dallas, Sacramento, Minnesota. Also played overseas. He coached. A big personality, and from what you've seen in the last 24 hours with all the social media out there, I never knew him. I never interviewed him.
2 minutes.
I don't think we did, Manuch.
I think we many years ago, Rock.
If we did, I don't remember, but sorely missed. It sounds like he was a big personality and a big locker room guy.
And the one thing you remember about Oliver Miller, the big O, is that first series against the Lakers beat the Suns the first 2 games. So Paul Westphal comes back and says, okay, we're going to win tomorrow's game, we're going to win the next game, and we'll go back to LA and close it out. Oliver Miller was the guy, to your point, Rock, sparked that Suns team as far as having outstanding games to get them to win those 3 games in a row, and then they moved on and went to the finals. But he was huge part of that. He was a big dude, too. Big rebounder, could run, could move up and down the court. The other thing that you think about is how ambidextrous he was around the rim. You talked about 2 guys, 2 round mounds of rebounds with Charles and him. And the other thing that was really neat to watch is those couple of years how Charles kind of took him under his wing as far as, teaching them how to be a pro. Watch that diet and make sure that you're ready to go each and every day. So what a great personality he was.
1 minute.
Just
1
outstanding, outstanding young man. I got one real quick story. Our good buddy Kevin McCabe hosted Steak and Burger at the Piper Boys and Girls Club in Scottsdale, and he was a celebrity. And a bunch of us ex-NFL guys, and
you made the cut.
I made the cut.
Wow.
Yeah, McCabe.
First time.
McCabe was the MC, and there's a Big O. And the first time I met him, what a nice guy, but he was a big man. Rock.
Yeah.
He's huge.
Big man.
I thought Joel Klein was big.
Oh yeah,
He was big. How nice. He signed autographs for the kids. He was there the entire time.
What's interesting, Jimmy, you haven't been in the market that long, but in the 90s, specifically the early 90s, our city wasn't a sports city. There wasn't a lot going on. We didn't have hockey. We didn't have Major League Baseball. We had just got the Cardinals, the Phoenix Cardinals in '88. Suns have been here since '68. Really not much going on. You had a lot of minor league teams. So there weren't a lot of sports celebrities that were from here.
Sure.
So Manuch did every charity event. He was on Channel 12 every night. He was color analyst and doing play-by-play for all the teams. He was, hosting the phone calls after games for the Cardinals. But then, unfortunately, our city got bigger. We got all four majors.
And they kicked him to the curb.
And it came to me.
Yeah.
He knocked on my one door, and he goes, "Hey, I know you've been doing a radio show on weekends with Wolf, but any chance you want to do a Monday through Friday show?" And I'm like, "I don't know. You're on my list, but give me a good week or two."
I made the short list. I said, I will talk for food. My hat in hand.
Great.
It's interesting. I had a chance to talk to Kevin McCabe yesterday about the Big O and that era, Rock, that 92 through, let's say, 2001, and then Phoenix. I don't know if we'll ever have another era like that with the Suns, and the Rattlers were big, and the Firebirds were, minor league, and Cardinals were just coming on. That was so fun. That Suns team, that Suns era, in reference to that, and it was just a great time. And rest in peace, Big O. What a great guy he was, and fun to be around as well too.
Hey, headlines presented by Weekapaw Casino and Resort and the $100,000 bracket challenge. Here's all you have to do. When the brackets come out, just go to winatweekapaw.com. That's winatweekapaw.com. And you can sign up in the $100,000 bracket contest. Yep, we have partnered with Weekapaw Casino and Resort along with Dos Equis. And don't forget, join us for the big Final Four event on April 5th. Will be at the WKP Sports Book at the Weekapaw Casino. It is free, and it includes your chance to win $100 props, $100 squares, a chance to roll the jumbo dice for a shot at $50,000, 50 grand. Over 100 people will get that opportunity. We have all the details for you on our website. That's rockandmanuch.com, rockandmanuch.com. Also, make sure, as soon as the brackets are up, winatweekapaw.com. It is the $100,000 bracket challenge. Winatweekapaw.com.
All right, we got some Suns. We got a former Sun. We have some NHL. And I can't believe it. You're going to hear some Big Sky tournament talk. And then Aaron Rodgers, we have it. It just came over. And I think you're right. It's about he's going to the Steelers. So
Yeah,
you're gonna hear that next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here from Twin Peaks, Scottsdale.
It's Thursday, and welcome to Lodge Mentality. The guys are living at Twin Peaks, Scottsdale, located on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard and the 101. Twin Peaks, the ultimate.
Making Mike's up.
A 29-degree beer served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, we have some news that just came over on X and Twitter in regards to Aaron Rodgers and him going to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Here is the audio, which Jax just got during the break. We didn't play our breaking news sounder, but this will work.
Steelers Nation, I'm so excited to announce I will be the starting quarterback this upcoming season. I'm a huge fan of Mike, so I'm looking forward to having him as my head coach. I also plan to take George and DK to an ayahuasca retreat, so I really hope that helps them catch more balls and chill out a bit. Anyways, I can't wait to go 10-7 again this year. Go Steelers.
Attaboy, Aaron.
What do you think about that? You happy about that? You're a Steelers fan.
I think it's great. It's a good move. And Mason Rudolph, they just signed him this morning. So he'll have two good quarterbacks. Mason Rudolph was with Tennessee, knows the system. But Aaron Rodgers, I think, is a natural fit for him. He's got the receiving core, get the running game. Matter of fact, the report was Mike Tomlin got involved the last half hour or hour of the negotiations.
Really?
And, man, he probably went, hey, look. Hey, look.
You sure about that, Manuch?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that, by the way?
I'm looking at.
What are you looking at? Wikipedia?
Well, it's an update as far
Manuch,
as.
that was an AI-generated audio.
It was a joke,
That was a
Manuch.
joke.
Oh, man. Okay, got me.
Yeah, we did.
We did.
Oh, we talked to Mike Tomlin within the last 30 minutes.
Well,
Why do you think I was laughing?
That makes Jimmy's clip tomorrow. Jimmy's not going to make the show tomorrow. Manuch gets that one.
Yeah, I Googled, and it says Mike Tomlin last 17 minutes gets involved. So
I can't believe
you got me.
that.
Not saying it's not going to happen. I do think it's going to happen. But that was something I found last night. Sent it to Jax and said, Jax, let's play that because I guarantee I'm going to get Manuch.
Well, here's the
guarantee.
Well,
And you did.
You did because I've seen this recently. I said, Aaron Rodgers news. Mike Tomlin now involved in negotiations. And that's 17 minutes ago. So if that just hit, it made sense.
I can't believe that. That is unbelievable.
I had you in the beginning, and then you knew right away.
No, I knew.
Not when you did not know right away.
I knew right away.
You didn't know.
When he talked about when he said the retreat, you knew it wasn't real.
Oh, well, yes.
But at first,
I thought,
yeah.
I had to think.
Yeah, don't do that, Jimmy.
Oh, I know. That's
Yes.
dangerous. I know that.
Yeah.
Yes, I did. But
All
I
right,
got it.
let's get to our sounds brought to you by Twin Peaks Scottsdale today. We had a big WWE fight last night with Mason Plumlee and Steven Adams. They both got ejected. Here's how that altercation went down. This is courtesy of Space City Home Network in Houston.
Lights out from 3 in that one. Inside the corner. Jalen Green just turned around, knocked it down, and now Plumlee and Adams get locked up with one another. That's the last guy he won. He takes him down.
Plumlee and Adams getting together in a scuffle will be reviewed to see if it's potentially flagrant. After review, the ruling on the play is double technical fouls. Both Plumlee and Adams have been ejected.
Correct call.
Yeah, it kind of sounded like this, a WWE throwdown.
Yeah.
Keep on him there. Watch out for this. Went for the code breaker. Great counter. He's got it. That's 3. That's 3. He's got Undertaker up on his shoulders again. And again. Going for a triple. A third and final.
I mean, he took them down.
Yeah.
That was it.
It was, but
They laid on top
that's
of
the first thing I thought about. I'm like, oh, this is WWE.
Hey, those are two big dudes to hit the ground. Like
I know.
that. I mean, you're looking at 6'10", 6'11", 270, 280.
Yep.
But once they got down, they were like, it was like a hug fest.
It was.
It was just hugging and
they were all
pushing
locked up.
and all that. And everybody tried to get in and break it up. The one referee, he just kind of walked by. I was like,
Yeah,
I don't want any part of this thing.
Yeah, really, I'm staying out of that. The only difference between the throwdown in the Suns game and what you just witnessed as WWE is that the throwdown at the Suns game, the outcome was not predetermined.
Yeah, very, very true. Very true. It wasn't fixed. Unless
Unless they
Plumlee and Adams said,
hey,
I got some stuff to do. I want to get. I don't want to play today. All right, let's get to more sound of the night. Let's see if you remembered this guy. I know a lot of Suns fans miss him.
Bridges to inbound. Nick's break. Clark gets it right back to Bridges. Bridges puts up a two. What a finish!
How about that? Mikal Bridges, 114 to 113, thanks to MSG in that one. Here's a funny moment in NHL hockey where the referee, the official, the ref, that's correct, the ref, not the official, calls for roughing and misconducts on all the other guys.
Detroit's going to have a minor for roughing, and all the other guys to have a misconduct. Buffalo will have a power play for 2 minutes.
I love that. I like when the officials and the refs and all that kind of have a little bit of fun.
I love
why
that.
not?
That was a game last night between Detroit and Buffalo, and I feel sorry for Buffalo Sabre fans. They are loyal to that team, but they suck. And they can't win a game to save their life. So what happened in the game? They were getting routed in the game. It was 7-3. So they get into the third period. Okay, we're not going to win this game. Let's fight. And the whole thing went down, and you heard the outcome.
That's courtesy of TNT. And then last night, for some odd reason, I'm watching the Big Sky tournament between Northern Colorado and Jackson's alma mater.
2 minutes.
Montana. And I hear this. This is the former Weber State head coach, Joe Cravens. And he is one of those, I don't know, he should be calling a NASCAR race. And I had to literally, I heard it. I then replayed it on my television, and I immediately took a picture or video of it and sent it to Jax. Said, Jax, what's with the Big Sky? Here is a little bit of a little play-by-play of him talking about one of the players.
In early February, 21 points. Dinker is our leading bench scorer, and he's a guy that kind of tickles me to watch him because when he gets in, he's got one thing on his mind, and it's not a whole lot about playing defense. He's got one thing going, and that is to put the brown thing in the round thing, and boy, he'll get a shot up here pretty quick.
The brown thing in the round thing.
Is he from Mississippi?
It tickles me.
1 minute. 1 minute.
That southern accent right there.
Oh man, I thought that was pretty cool. I mean, just those guys are cool. I mean, it's just when you hear a guy like that, it kind of made me want to, listen to him more. I didn't care about the game per se, no disrespect. I just was like, all right, let's. This guy is making it entertaining.
It's different.
Making it totally entertaining. Where is he from? I'm trying to look where he's from. I don't know if he's Mississippi or not.
He's got to be in the South.
Got that southern drawl.
He's got that twang.
They got those
He's from Scottsdale, Indiana.
Wow.
with that accent like that.
Wow. Man, I wouldn't expect that.
I wouldn't either, but oh well. All right, those are your sounds. Thanks to Twin Peaks and the Fan. Pick'em, fanpick'em.com. $10,000 bracket. We've teamed up with Bud Light and Neutral. Pretty excited about that. We got 2 big contests going on, so you're going to have an opportunity to win a lot of money. All right, we're going to get our shift gears now. Go get into some football. The NFC West, a lot of news in free agency. Not sure what the hell's going on with the San Francisco 49ers, man. I mean, they signed Mac Jones. Does that mean that Brock Purdy's holding out or going to hold out or is going to be a problem? We're going to dive into that with Eric Williams, who is with NFL on Fox. But first, here is Jax with your first ESPN 620 Sports Center.
It's now time for your Rock Manuch with Jimmy B's bottom of the hour local Phoenix ESPN 620 Sports Center update, sponsored by Weekapaw Casino and Resort. I'm Jackson Groff. The Kansas Jayhawks and Arizona Wildcats are set for a highly anticipated rematch tonight at 6:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Kansas took the first matchup last week over Arizona 83-76 at home. in their regular season finale. In the NFL news, the Arizona Cardinals are making moves, signing former Cleveland Browns defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson, 2 years, $29 million deal, $16 million guaranteed. That was announced last night. Get ready for our huge $100,000 bracket challenge happening now at winatweekapaw.com. Don't miss out on your chance to win big. Mark your calendars. Join us for a giant Final Four event at WKP Sportsbook. It's free to attend. Enjoy $100 props, $100 squares, and don't miss our halftime contest where you can win $50,000. Eric Williams next.
Get ready to win.
I think since Kyle and I've been here, we've been, certainly a top five, I believe, number 2 cash spending team. In the last 5 years, I think or 4 years, going into the 4th year, I think we're the 4th highest cash spending team. So we're at some point you have to reset a little bit, or at least recalibrate. You can't just keep pressing the pedal. And I think there's some good that can come out of it. We need to get younger. I think we're the oldest team in football, trying to make a run at the deal last year. And I think it's good to constantly get younger.
Making Mike's hot. About 15 seconds left here in this comment.
We'll have 4 picks in the top 100. If the comp picks happen like we see it, that's always a calculation. We'll have 10 picks overall. And we're excited about adding more youth to a great core of players that we already have.
49ers General Manager John Lynch talking about a reset with the San Francisco 49ers. And joining us now, NFC West beat writer Eric Williams from NFL on Fox joins us here on ESPN 620 Phoenix. Eric, as you hear John Lynch and you see what's going on with the quarterback situation, they bring in Mac Jones, sign a 2-year deal Was that, in your opinion, an insurance policy for the 49ers in case things go south with Brock?
No, I don't really see it as that. I just see it as trying to get better overall in the quarterback room. I think eventually they're going to get Purdy done. I don't know what the number's going to be. I have a feeling it's going to have a 5 in front of it in terms of the annual salaries that he'd be earning. I think he's, deserving of that. But I think the move to sign Mac Jones is more about just getting a quality backup that, they like coming into the draft when they drafted Trey Lance. The other thing is, I would say, is nobody wants to say rebuild. They're all calling it reset, recalibration. I mean, they're rebuilding. They're moving on from a bunch of guys and drafting younger guys. Hopefully it happens sooner for them, but I mean, that's what they're doing.
It's interesting when you look at the offense, McCaffrey coming back, Ayuk, you have Jennings and Pearsall. Offensive line needs a little improvement. Kittle's coming back. They seem to be fairly solid if everybody's healthy. It's that defense that's pretty much decimated with all the dudes that they've lost, especially Greenlaw. What a huge, and the safety as well, huge losses on that defensive side. I mean, those are huge losses.
They are, but they kind of planned for him based on how they drafted. They drafted Mustafa, the safety, and he actually played a lot because Hufanga was hurt. Greenlaw's a great player, but again, he's come off the Achilles, so is he going to get back to the player that he was, before he got hurt in the Super Bowl? So I think those are the issues when you looked at players that they moved off of. They were guys that had trouble staying healthy. They were great players, but again, if they're not on the field, can they really help you? That would be my concern with Trent Williams. He's been dinged up the last couple of years, and he's not getting any younger. And having covered this league for a while, old guys get hurt. That's why that teams move off of them. They want younger guys a chance of staying healthy, but when they do get hurt, it's quicker for them to return from that injury.
Eric Williams is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Eric, my question is about the NFC West. On paper, the way that you see it today, does that mean that the Rams now are at the top? And as you look at the 49ers and the Seahawks, does that mean the Cardinals have slid into that number 2 position, at least on paper today?
Well, I definitely think on paper you have to go with the Rams based on, the success that Matthew had at the end of the season and how he played and being able to bring him back. You move on from Cooper Kupp, and then you add a future Hall of Fame type receiver in Devontae Adams, who I still think is playing good football at 32 years old. And then I really think they did a good job of trying to fix one of the deficiencies they had defensively. So you signed Puna Ford from the Chargers, bring him across town, and I think that's going to immediately improve, their ability to defend the run. Saquon Barkley ran up and down the field against them last year. The Cardinals early in the season ran up and down the field against their defense, so I think that will improve them. Number 2, Cardinals, maybe. I think the Seahawks might have something to say with that, depending on how Sam Darnold plays. Getting a new offensive coordinator in there and Clint Kubiak. They're going to get back to, their identity when they first took over in terms of Snyder and Carroll. It's going to be a run-based team that's going to lean on their defense. Seahawks won 6 of their last 8 games last year. Defense only gave up 18 points a game, so I think McDonald kind of figured some things out. I think you're really looking at the Seahawks and Cardinals kind of right there, and then I think, 49ers are kind of bringing up the rear right now, depending on what they do in the draft.
When you look at the Cardinals with Sweat, Dalvin Tomlinson now, I mean, what a big get that was, even though it was along the tooth. Davis Gaither, Mykal Walker. You look at the defense, but what are you finding out or hearing about why Kaiser White has not been re-signed yet? Is it just a matter of him getting out in the market and then coming back with a legitimate offer before they do anything?
I would think that would be part of it. Yeah, I mean, he's probably got interest from other teams and he's trying to figure out, what the best situation financially is for him. Part of it might be location too, in terms of wanting to be closer to where he's from originally. So I think all those things factor into whether a guy signs with the team he's with right now or whether he signs somewhere else. But Kaiser is a good player for them, kind of anchors the middle of that defense. I would imagine that.
And I would also say that the backup with Jacoby Brissett, what a huge move that was for this Cardinals team to really solidify if Kyler Murray does go down.
Yeah, I mean, he's just solid. And I think it's important, in this league to have a legitimate number 2 guy behind your starter that can go in and win a game for you. And so, again, with Kyler, he's struggled with injuries, since he's been in Arizona. His production has also tailed off in the second half of the season. So, maybe they can do a better job of just kind of making sure he stays healthy throughout the year. And you have a guy that can, again, be a spot starter for you in case he is dinged up.
Eric Williams, NFC West beat writer here, NFL on Fox on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. I want to ask you in regards to when you look at the quarterback situation overall in the conference, there's been a lot of changes. It's all about the backup, having a really good backup. Who do you think right now is number 1 in the clubhouse going into this season to have the best quarterbacks, duo or situation?
Yeah, I definitely would go with the Rams with Stafford and Garoppolo. I mean, both those guys have played in Super Bowl, so I don't know how you can't start there. I think number 2, I probably would lean with 49ers just because, again, Purdy has shown that he can get it done in the postseason, and I think Mac Jones is a quality backup. And then I think I would go Cardinals number 3, and I would go Seahawks number 4. I know Darnold played well last year, played at an MVP caliber level, but he really struggled those last couple of games of the year when they really needed him to play well. And then you have Sam Howell backing him up, and Howell didn't look good in the spot duty that he got last year. So I would put the Seahawks last.
And you look at the receiving. You talk about Darnold. Lockett's gone, DK's gone. By the way, what was the scenario, the situation with DK? Why was he so adamant to get the heck out of Seattle? Did he see this team going nowhere fast, or did he get wind that Sam Darnold was going to be the quarterback? Or once Geno left and went to Vegas, he's like, I'm out of here. What was the precursor to him wanting to move on?
I think the precursor was money. He wanted to get paid, and Pittsburgh was willing to pay him. They're reportedly, I think it's a 5-year, $150 million deal, $132 million new money. It's an average salary of $30 million a year. Believe me, John Snyder did not want to pay that. That they don't want to pay receivers that kind of money. So he went ahead and took the second-round pick, which made sense. They love DK. He's a great player, but they're not going to pay a receiver that kind of money, particularly when they drafted JSN in the first round. He's really kind of emerged as their number 1 receiver. They were always
about 2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Here. And so, you're right. You're putting Darnold in a tough situation. He had one of the best offenses to operate with, last year in Minnesota, and one of the best play callers in Kevin O'Connell. Now he goes to a new team. He does have JSN, but other than that, the cupboard is pretty bare in terms of receiver. They did sign Marquez Valdez-Scantling, who could give them a little bit of a big body in the perimeter. Maybe they're able to bring Cooper Kupp back home and re-sign him. That would make some sense if Kupp wants to go back. But they're really going to be a running football team. I think they're probably going to run more 2 tight end sets with Kubiak and then lean on Kenneth Walker and Charbonnet to kind of lead that offense from more of a run mindset.
Eric, we always appreciate your time here in Phoenix. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. We'll talk to you down the line here.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
That's Eric Williams, NFC West beat writer, NFL on Fox. You can follow him on his X page at Eric_D_Williams. So real dialed in to the NFC West. So a lot of changes, a lot of quarterback moves. What do you think, Manuch? Mac Jones, you worried there?
Not really. He's a pretty solid guy. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I'd probably prefer more of an experienced guy, but he's smart. He's pretty bright.
Wait, he's got experience, Manuch.
He's got
He was a starter in New England for 2 years.
And the Jags.
Right. And the Jags, yeah. He's got plenty of experience.
He's got that type of thing. But I think sometimes I would have thought that Jacoby Brissett would have been perfect to go to the San Francisco 49ers.
Wasn't available. We went there again.
I mean, they had a chance, though, prior to that. But he'll be fine. He'll be a guy that if Brock goes down, he can handle things. He'll be able to go ahead. He's a smart guy. Doesn't have a lot of the abilities a lot of these guys do, but he throws it well. It's fairly accurate. And I think, again, just a good insurance policy for that Niners team. The other thing, too, is when you look at the thing about whole Sam Darnold going to Seattle, and he just kind of hit it.
I don't get it.
Who are you going to throw to?
Yeah,
really. The money, DK's gone, Tyler's gone. You got some decent core, but if they're going to pound the ball and not be quite as expansive as O'Connell was with his playing call in Minnesota, Kubiak Jr., you could see very much like the Pete Carroll ran. Run it, throw as needed.
We'll look at some of the signings today. One included Mason Rudolph of the Pittsburgh Steelers. He got a 2-year deal worth $8 million. We'll dive into some of those next as we continue on from Twin Peaks in Scottsdale. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on ESPN 620.
It's Thursday, and welcome to Lodge Mentality. The guys are living at Twin Peaks, Scottsdale.
Making Mike's hot.
Lloyd Wright Boulevard and the 101. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
And they started St. Patty's Day a little early, that being earlier this week. A costume party going on. Big specials with Jamesons and green teas and Irish car bombs. They got all kinds of Irish cocktails, lemonades, some sweet stuff like the apple turnovers, all kinds of good stuff here at Twin Peaks. Of course, 5 Valley locations worth of Scottsdale. You just heard a little Santana coming back here on this day 55 years ago, 1969, Woodstock, the Music and Art Fair. Yeah, Art Fair. Opened up with 3 days there in New York. Over 400,000 people were there. Jimi Hendrix, Santana, Sly and the Family Stone, The Who, The Dead, Janis Joplin. I mean, the list goes on and on. What a huge, huge, huge deal. There were 2 births that day, too. considering what was going on. Is a lot of drug use. Jimmy, were you there?
I was there.
I bet you were.
I was.
Tell us about it.
I went with another guy. We hitchhiked from Spokane, Washington, all the way across the country at 18 years old, and ended up in.
Whoa.
Do the math.
He was 18 in 1969. So 55 plus 18. There. Now we know how old you are. Finally. Finally.
Oh, hallelujah. Way to set him up, Rock. I
was 7 years old when I hitchhiked.
Whatever.
So at any rate, yes, we hitchhiked across the country, got there. It was an amazing experience. I can't tell you. I left because the rain was so bad and we didn't have anything. No tent, nothing.
Do you recall how you left?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, did you just hitch a ride?
Yeah,
or
that's what we did. We hitchhiked.
Yeah.
Wow. You hitchhiked across the country like that?
Yeah, man. You did all that stuff back then.
That's amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have the balls to do that.
I picked up Bill Walton one day in Portland. He was hitchhiking to go to practice.
I am not buying that one. All right,
it's the truth.
I'm sorry, dude. I love you to death, but
it's the truth.
You've had drinks with Will Chamberlain.
Now
you've picked up Bill Walton hitchhiking. If an outsider hearing that, they're not going to believe it.
Yes, they will, and here is why. Because when I was doing television in Portland,
you had a car.
Bill Walton was famous for riding his bike. If the weather was bad, he would try to hitchhike to get to practice. So
you are fake news.
No, I am not fake news.
Good job.
Oh, and screw that guy. So here's the other thing. Now that my 401k's tanking because of that imbecile.
Finish your story.
The thing.
It'll be back.
I picked him up. I'm driving along the road. I knew about where he lived, and I picked him up and took him to the practice.
What kind of car are you driving?
Back then,
He got in it? He was okay?
No. Back then, I had a Fiat Spider, two-door sports car ragtop.
How do you get in it?
Shocker. You can't fit in that thing.
Yeah, he was sitting
That's a clown car.
He was sitting up with his knees to his head.
Wow. On this day, 27 years ago,
True story.
a year after Shaquille O'Neal had the movie Kazam, he returned with another big one. And it was the release of Steel. And I think two people saw it, maybe two. It wasn't a show that or a movie that got an Oscar at all. But I think we got some sound of this trailer, or part of a trailer.
Gang still messing with him?
Worse than ever.
Gotcha, bro. We make our own kind of weapons to take out the ones in the streets. To stop an enemy without hurting them. It might get a little dangerous.
Action Steel. He was an action movie star. You gotta admit, man, and that was 1997.
Yeah.
Shaq's the man. He's awesome.
Yeah, except he doesn't know Chauncey Billups doesn't coach the Portland Trailblazers.
They're gonna have those moments, okay? You have them all the time.
I have them every day.
Yeah,
here.
so we all have them.
You and Marshawn Lynch don't get the little acting bug. He's been in a couple movies.
I don't think he's very good, but he's
himself.
Marshawn Lynch. Yeah, that's why it works, right? 25 years ago today, the PGA Championship, Tiger Woods. He was 23 years old, became the youngest player to win 2 majors. How about that? Since 1980. Chick Hearn on this day is 250.
Spit it out, Rock.
2,500.
2,500.
There you go.
Gosh. Consecutive Laker game he called, and he was Richfield Coliseum in Cleveland. And that streak dated back to November of 1965. This was 1962 when he did it.
Chick Hearn was the man, right, Jimmy?
He was the man. You know where the Richfield Coliseum was located?
Yeah, he used to be there all the time.
That's right. I forgot
6
that
minutes.
you were there.
6
That's
minutes.
Right. Yeah, it was out in a wooded area.
Yeah,
probably,
suburb.
Probably 30 minutes from downtown Cleveland.
No different than the Coyotes playing in Glendale.
Oh, no, I get that, except there wasn't anything
around there. No.
It was just all of a sudden you're driving.
It's really odd that they did that.
It was, yeah.
You know, I'm anxious to see if they can win a championship without LeBron.
I think it'd be great if they could.
Yeah. I'm rooting for them, but I just think Boston, even though they lost last night, they just couldn't shoot. But I do think that Boston's going to be the team that's going to win this whole thing.
If they get past the Celtics, anything's possible with that team. I mean, if they're healthy,
good. They're good.
I mean, they're a solid team, but it gets to the playoffs. It's like everybody kicks in like the Celtics. You think some of these teams that win title, they just take their game to another level.
So I heard people complaining, at least online, when you look at after the game, and they were all complaining that the points in the paint
5 minutes.
were
5 minutes.
controlled by
The ref?
by the OKC Thunder.
Oh,
Well, because the Celtics were behind, they shot over 63 pointers, and the free throw line percentage, they did like 22 free throws for OKC, and the Celtics had like 5. Well, because you're not taking the ball to the basket. What do we yell about on this show constantly?
And that nobody realizes that. Until they say, oh, they did nothing but shoot outside, never went to the rack. Well, where's this discrepancy?
Yeah.
Because they're not going to the rim.
That's it.
They're not attacking the rim.
some signings in regards to quarterbacks. The Steelers, they brought back Mason Rudolph, a 2-year deal worth $8 million. He was 1-4 last year, 9 interceptions. Mac Jones, we talked about that a little earlier, a 2-year deal with a $5 million guarantee. So Brock Purdy has some experience behind him. He started 7 games last year for Jacksonville when Trevor Lawrence was out with injuries. The Chargers are bringing back wide receiver Mike Williams, a 1-year deal valued at $6 million. So good to see that. And Cameron Jordan, who grew up here in the Valley, he is going to stay for another year. 35 years old for the New Orleans Saints. 35 years old, as I mentioned. He started 17 games last year, had 4 sacks and an interception. He has been there 14 years. I think it's great staying with one organization.
Sure, and still productive. And he opted to say, hey, look, if I'm going to go anywhere, stay in New Orleans. You know, and you watch him the last couple of years, he still can disrupt a running game and push the pocket a little bit. But, yeah, the son of one, Steve Jordan, the fine tight end for the Minnesota Vikings, is looks like I believe this will probably be his last year there with the Saints. And who knows? Maybe he can help get that thing turned around there in New Orleans.
I'm still scratching my head with the Cleveland Browns and Kenny Pickett.
3 minutes. 3 minutes.
For them to make the trade with the Eagles for Dorian Thomas-Robinson and a 5th-round pick, and now they're coming out saying that being Cleveland and some of the media, at least he thinks so too, as he was introduced to to Cleveland today, that he's QB1 right now.
That's what he says.
Yep. He's QB1.
He says excited to be the starter for the Cleveland Browns. And
God, if you, and I'm one of them. I'm an Eagles fan, then I'm a Browns fan. Okay, because my whole family's from Cleveland. All my buds, they're just like, again, really? How many damn quarterbacks do we have to go through? Can they just draft one and stick with them? And I think they would have done okay because they would have got Cam Ward most likely.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, now you look at you remember Deshaun Watson's still there, so
that's gone.
But here's the thing. Well, he's still part of the team. He just restructured his contract.
Yeah, but
so
he's gone.
He's
2
going to help.
minutes. 2 minutes.
They're not going to trade him. But he's going to pick up his contract, Rock. So he's going to be there because he's guaranteed.
Dude, there's always some stupid GM out there that thinks they can fix it.
That's correct.
And he will play it for another team. Eventually.
No, I know. He
might not play ever again.
Or he may not play it. Oh, yeah.
Depending on his injury.
But somebody will pick him up.
But also, I know that Russell Wilson was looking to go in there and interview with them.
Today he did, yeah.
Yeah, so that'll be, you're right, their quarterback situation has been a mess the last 4 or 5 years.
Where's Baker Mayfield when you need him? Oh, he's now playing in Tampa and going to the playoffs.
Yeah, he had a good year, man.
I
remember us talking, second quarter of the season, MVP?
Yep.
Or how about, remember Manziel, the whole man?
Johnny Manziel.
He was perfect for Cleveland.
Charlie Fry, remember he went there?
Yeah, that was bad.
I mean, they had like a plethora.
Derek Anderson got him to the playoffs.
What was we kind of 18 over like a 10year span?
The way they usually say it, all the shirts you see,
1 minute.
It's
1
everyone
minute.
after Tim Couch.
Yeah.
Because he was a first-round pick.
Yeah.
So, hey, the countdown to the bracket contest with Twin Peaks is now. Fanpick'em.com, your chance to win $10,000. It's only 1,000 people. First 1,000 people. It's brought to you by Bud Light and Neutral. Multiple ways to win. You can soak in all the madness with some Bud Light and Neutral specials at all 5 Valley locations. We'll have our broadcast schedule up there as well. So check it out. Go to
30 seconds.
fanpick'em.com. Well, coming up, we've got some college football to get into. The AAC becomes the first conference to set athletic revenue sharing minimums. Plus, the AD, a Kansas State guy at UNLV, says, hey, I can't afford Dan Mullen's contract. We'll get into that. Rick Coro as well. It's all coming up as we continue right here on ESPN 620.
Need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, we're out here at Twin Peaks in Scottsdale, and if this crowd in here is any indication of the economy, it's doing pretty good. Very busy today, 2 o'clock on a Thursday. Inclement weather is real good for this place. All the places, I'm sure, in town, all 5, because, hey, if they're not going to a ball game, they need to do something to do, and couldn't think of a better thing to do than come over here to Twin Peaks. All 5 locations. We're at the Scottsdale location, and they're saying more shamrocks, more shenanigans here, as it's a St. Patty's drink special and costume party going on.
I don't have to wear a leprechaun outfit, do I?
You need to wear. I mean, you still lost that bet.
Which one was
yes,
that?
you did, Jimmy.
You
That's
lost
right.
the bet.
Yeah, because you didn't.
Not really a bet. You went to the wrong location.
Oh, I did that. Yes.
So we got it. Well, I mean, all the girls are about your size,
Pretty
so I'm
much.
sure we could get one.
Okay.
An outfit and have you wear it.
I don't think one of their skirts would fit me.
Oh, because you're too small. All right, let's get into some college hoops. Rick Coro will join us. We got some other good stuff to get into, but a lot of talk about the $2.8 billion House versus NCAA settlement, which will be approved next month. At least it's being expected to, where universities can pay up to $20.5 million total annually to all of their athletes in their departments. And it's all based on a new revenue structure. While the American Athletic Conference is the first to come out, and they will require their schools to share at least $10 million of athletic revenue with athletes over the next 3 years. So this means that their minimum would be an average of roughly $3.3 million or more each year. Now, Army and Navy, they'll be exempt from the requirement since they do not provide athletic scholarships, which they should, of course, and they all allow their athletes to accept NIL money as well. So we are in that era of revenue sharing. They are going to be the first to come out with that. Now, Texas Tech, a member of the Big 12, they were the first school to basically release the plan on how they were going to do it. They are putting 74% of the money to football, which is just over 15 million. Basketball is next at 17.5%, roughly 2.6 million. Women's basketball, they get out of all the other schools, the other non-revenue sports, is like we call it, that's 4.5%, which is just under $1 million. So more details of these schools and conferences are going to start rolling out as these schools are trying to figure out how to do it. It's going to be interesting to see how this works. I mean, the AAC is small, right? It's not a huge conference,
right?
But still, $3 million could go a long way.
It's interesting because Texas Tech, remember about 3 years ago, they're the first ones to start playing all their players.
If you made the football team, you got $25,000.
Well, you had to make it, but you also had to finish your year in good standing. So they had to make the $25,000. So they kind of got this started so that the rest of the campus said, wow, if we could move this to a point. So that's somewhat, to your point, Rock, the model that they used was based a lot on that. So a lot of these young men and women that are going to college, if they stay in good standing and they get the payout, my question would be, so if you get so much per year, does that go like an escrow account until you graduate, or do you have to be there is it the full year, then you can move on? There got to be some kind of stipulations, I think, with that.
And I'm anxious to see is, okay, when do they get that check?
Yes.
And do they park it? Do they park it in the bank and get interest on it so they can use some of that interest money for other things? Sure. Because I would think that's a smart business move to park the money.
Well, that, you talk about getting that check from the campus and then whatever NIL money you get. By the way, the armed forces schools, they're paid by the government. So to your point, they're exempt. The government pays them for all their expenses and what have you.
Rightfully so.
So they look at this model, and the money is huge. I mean, when they made this decision, it came down and said, hey, NCAA, you really screwed it. You should have been ahead of this years ago when the players started saying, hey, shouldn't we get a piece of this? So it came back, and rightfully so. But I think if it's a year-by-year situation, you get the check, take whatever you want, do whatever you want to do with it. If you come back the next year,
you put it in the bank.
Well, yeah, you do, but I mean,
you try to pay this NIL money out as far out as you
sure
can.
You do. Yeah,
because 3% or whatever it may be on 10, 20, $30 million.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot of money.
Current CDs are for kids are 4.25%, on an annual basis. So you put it in there for 3 or 4 years, come out, you're making what, 700, 800, 1,000 a month. You're doing pretty good coming out of school.
Now, one school that's having a little difficulty with money, and they had some problems back in September. If you remember the quarterback named Matt Sluka, he entered the transfer portal 3 games into the season after he alleged that he was not getting paid for NIL and that the school's collective was not paying him. They ended up going 7-3 without him and got to a bowl game and won it in first time in 24 years. So they did all right.
Almost won the Mountain West.
Yeah,
too.
almost won the Mountain West. But their athletic director, Eric Harper, who runs the Running Rebels athletic department, told the Board of Regents this morning that Dan Mullen, who they just hired, who we all know Dan Mullen, was on TV for many years, big-time coach at Mississippi and Florida. It looks as though, at least Eric Harper is saying, they will only be able to pay him for the first 2 years of his 5-year contract, which is $17.5 million. So
4 minutes.
How is that going to work if they can't afford the back half of the coach's contract? I mean, is that something you need to let the Board of Regents know today?
Yes.
Or do you get your staff out there and start fundraising and get money for him?
Well, first of all,
this is a bad look on the school.
Real bad.
It's a bad look on the AD as well.
Yeah.
Well, wasn't it, when you put this contract, he signed this contract, you would think that the money would be there committed for his entire contract. Because
You're talking about Dan Mullen.
Yeah, Dan Mullen, exactly.
I'm sure he didn't think twice.
No, exactly. But I mean, as far as UNLV going, okay, we're going to offer you, this is the total package. So you're on a per year basis. We got you covered. Would they not know if there's shortfalls on the last 3 years that they don't have that money in an escrow account?
I don't think a head coach is, it's a university. You feel, okay, I'm signing a contract to be the head football coach. I don't think they look at that. Now, they are $26 to $30 million in debt right now in their athletic department, right?
Yep.
So maybe Mullen, needed to do his homework there, or his handlers need to do his homework there, but he's going to be fine.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a stepping stone job anyway. You really think he's going to be there 5 years anyway? 2 years is probably just perfect for him.
He's going to be gone. If he has success like he did this past year, he'll be gone after this upcoming season.
This is his first year.
Right, but I'm saying if he has success,
yes.
Yeah, and
like they did that last season.
But anytime a school brings in a coach and you're going to offer a 5-year package and here's the total amount, you would think that there's money already there committed. I mean, look at it as first year. Otherwise, why do they offer a 5-year deal if they can only pay the first 2? Maybe it should have offered a 3-year deal knowing, hey, we can go get that extra money. Or did they get way out in front of their skis and say, well, if they're going to get Dan Mullen, his representatives, we got to have at least a 5-year. Why would you not have that money?
You wonder if the AD maybe
2 minutes
think this out right.
2 minutes.
And I know the Mountain West are paying him a bunch of money to stay.
Sure.
Yeah.
If you remember, all these schools, 5 schools from the Mountain West went to the Pac-12.
Correct.
I don't know why UNLV wouldn't have jumped that.
I
What do you
agree.
want to be in the Mountain West, or you want to be in the Pac-12? I know the Pac-12 is not like what it was, but I think we all agree the Pac-12 will be back in some form and will still be strong.
You would think so.
Or is
but-
it just going to be a new improved Mountain West?
Well, but it could have been if they would have done that, but they didn't. The Mountain West said, "Okay, you're going to have to stay," and so UNLV stayed. So UNLV is the biggest city in the Mountain West, most prestigious in Las Vegas. So you have Boise State, predominantly the star football team of that conference, but you have a UNLV sleeping giant, so to speak, similar to what you have here at Arizona State. So if you can build
1 minute,
UNLV into a very competitive football powerhouse, now you can own that conference and dictate. I think they missed it. I think they should have got on the boat with the Pac-12
I do too.
as well.
I don't understand that, but that's why they are ADs making millions of dollars, and we're sitting here in a bar doing a radio show.
Correct.
I think the other thing, too, is you would think they can go to some of those large casinos in Vegas wins and whoever and say, hey, look, we're interested. You're an alumnus. We want you to step. Can you step up? $3 million, whatever that number is.
I understand that.
Everybody
Manuch.
says that, Manuch.
Yeah.
If
doesn't work
you're
like
an
that.
alum, someone pulls up your name, they're going to say, wow, played in the NFL, played in the Canadian League, this, and that. He's got a big time drive time radio show and all that. Huge. I'm being
Sure.
serious. And from a perception point of view,
Yes.
you're not writing a big check, and
No.
you would be considered one of those donors.
But I would say if your partnerships with the casinos could step up for that shortfall, otherwise,
Here's the thing: I don't understand. Do you really think it makes sense for MGM to advertise at UNLV? No.
Well,
it doesn't do them any good. If I have a budget, I'm the marketing guy. I'm not advertising at UNLV. I already got the people there.
Here's the other thing. Didn't the
Clear the
Raiders
rep whenever.
get
Clear the
checks
rep
from
whenever.
the casinos? They do.
That's different. It's NFL.
Yeah, I'm
you
just
can't
I'm,
compare.
no, I'm not.
Compare.
No, I'm not comparing. Listen, so the Raiders get checks. Now you have a hockey team. When they brought that in, they got checks.
Baseball
You're
will
bringing
too.
in baseball. They're going to get big checks to get underway.
So,
what's left for UNLV?
You may know this, Jax. Is it true that if you're in Nevada and you are a resident, you cannot bet on UNLV?
That used to be the case.
Okay.
Used to be.
All right.
I don't
because
know if that's still
that
the
may
case.
be one reason why those. But
Yeah.
you can bet on the
Anything
Raiders.
else, yes.
You can bet on the other two sports.
Or the other thing too is, as you're talking this out, I'm wondering if colleges are allowed to go, get represented. The whole gambling connotation.
Well, it was
legal.
always looked down on.
Yes.
All right, go ahead, Connor.
I do know back with UNLV, they did kind of have that whole point shaving scandal way back. I think it was the 80s or so.
Jerry
So that's
Tarkanian.
probably another big part of it too, right? You're talking about the point shaving in Vegas where gambling is so big. It does kind of create some of those backdoor problems.
I am going to say, though, Rock, I think now
Also clear to rep whenever.
that the way that gambling has forced itself into everything, I think that particular law that you talked about
roadblock
probably went away.
Probably right. Yeah. Well, we'll find out. I'm sure somebody can call us and tell us.
Yeah, it went away.
All right. Mark Castano is suing ESPN. We will hear from him as well as Brett Favre. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Twin Peaks, Scottsdale.
It's Thursday, and welcome to Lodge Mentality. The guys are living at Twin Peaks, Scottsdale, located on Frank Lloyd Wright Boulevard and the 101. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, former New York Jet Mark Gastineau blames Brett Favre for not being in the Hall of Fame. There was a trailer that was released on Tuesday for an upcoming 30 for 30 New York sack exchange. It's a documentary where Mark Gastineau, the former Jet, as I mentioned, one-time NFL single-season record holder, confronts Brett Favre, whom is still mad. Mark's still mad for taking a dive when Michael Strahan broke his sack record in 2002. And this was at a Chicago sports spectacular by a card show where Gastineau confronts Brett Favre. In the video, there's a handshake, and then it gets into a bunch of stuff. But here is some sound from Mark, because Mark is now suing ESPN over the promotion of this and what had happened in 2023 with Brett Favre. So we'll take you back on this, and I will tell you how much he's suing him for.
Yeah. But you know what? Everybody asks me, why aren't you in the Hall of Fame? Do you know how long I've thought about it? A long time. Somebody that had more sacks than anybody on that team, somebody that played their butt off, somebody that did more than anybody that had played. I don't know why I'm not in the Hall of Fame.
That's clip one. Clip two, here is the exchange at that Chicago Sports Spectacular back in 2023 with Brett Favre.
Anybody will tell you Brett Favre took a dive. And you know it. She knows it. He knows it. And everybody knows it. Excuse me. Finally met. Now you tell me.
Met a long time ago. At least I saw you.
Right.
How you doing?
When you fell down for him. I'm going to get my sack back. I'm going to get my sack back, dude.
You probably would hurt me.
Well, I don't care. You hurt me. You hurt me. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
You really hurt me. You hurt me, Brett.
We got to get back to this, Brett. I'm sorry.
That guy,
For him to do that to Brett Favre,
that guy saved him.
He did.
Because
he came up and escorted Brett out of there.
You know, Gastineau, excuse me, is what, 68, 70 years old,
Yeah.
you know, and
he has health issues too.
Yeah, obviously there. And I don't know. How many people are in the Hall of Fame? Do I think he probably should be in there? Possibly.
Absolutely.
I'm sure I could take it either way. I watched him play. You know, I thought he was a great player. I don't know if that's accurate with what Brett Favre did. I find that hard to believe if it is true. We will never, ever, ever know unless one of Brett Favre's buddies, maybe it's Peterson, Coach Peterson, who was a backup with him back in that day, said, oh, yeah, I did that on purpose.
You know, you watch that tape over and over and over again, and Strahan's coming off the edge, and Favre kind of drops back, kind of goes off to his right and goes down. I mean, he went down on his own volition. He didn't really get sacked. Strahan was just like right there and just kind of grabbed him.
Got the credit.
Got the credit for it. But I mean, that's just one of those things where, okay, then Mark, there's nothing you can really do about that. That's something. But as far as Hall of Fame, Mark Gastineau should be in the Hall of Fame. You look at his years and years of being sacked and productive. Joe Klecko's in the Hall of Fame.
Yep.
I mean, I watched this documentary. It's outstanding. The New York Sack Exchange with Klecko and
Marty Lyons,
Abdul Salam, who's since passed on since they've had this documentary, and they don't understand. Those three that are left don't understand why he's not in the Hall of Fame. But all that being said, Mark didn't really endear himself to a lot of the people that were voters of the Hall of Fame. Some
people
of them
don't like him at all.
Yeah, and a lot of them. Matter of fact, he stopped talking to Marty Lyons, Klecko. He went back and pretty much, not only spoiler alert here, it's a great documentary. He went back to make amends to those guys. And they did a shot of them when they did the New York Sack Exchange back in 81. And then they did another one at the end of this documentary. But Mark is very deserving. I think it's just the way that he went about it. or may have rubbed some people wrong. The sack dance rubbed a lot of people wrong, but it doesn't take away what he did on the field.
And he's done, right? He can't get in now. Is there
I
still
think-
any eligibility
I
left?
think the veteran committee can still get him in, but
Do you
they
think-
haven't been
Do
close.
you
to
think
getting
this?
him in.
Do you think this documentary helps his cause?
I think it does. I think that brings light.
I
to
didn't see it
everything.
yet. So
I haven't either.
It brings light to it. And Marty Lyons, Joe Cluck of all, bannered for him by the Veterans Committee to be part of the Hall of Fame. But that clip there with Mark going to Brett Favre was, for me, it's unacceptable. Mark, let that go. You guys are there. Hey, look, I want to understand. He could approach and understand why would you do that. But you know what? He did it. And your talents should stand on their own merit, no matter whether Strahan got the sack record. You're the second one behind him.
So he's suing him for $25 million, suing ESPN, that is.
Yep.
Come on.
ESPN was just there to record that. I don't understand.
That's it. I don't get it.
So that piece I don't understand.
Yeah, he wants damages.
For what?
He contends that he was portrayed maliciously false in the clip.
Well, if you got a camera and somebody's confronting somebody else.
Well, they're saying it was he's basically saying it's an inaccurate portrayal of him. And then it blew up on social media, and they, it made it look really bad for him.
Well, it was, and even though if he is saying those words, camera doesn't lie. I mean, it is what it is.
I mean,
you saw him do that.
And to that point, Jimmy, if they take this to court, they'll look at that footage and they'll see what's the intent.
3
All
minutes.
they're doing is a
3
recording
minutes.
That he went up to Brett Favre. Brett Favre said, "Hey, was talked." His handler came and took him away. Brett Favre's handler. And that was it.
Yeah.
And I felt when I watched, I'm like, Mark, this is something, that's not the time and place to do it. If you're going to do it, make a phone call.
All right, let's move on. Our underdog picks for the week. Let's recap Jax from last week.
Yeah, we were 2-3 as a group as a whole. Manuch had Knicks
So
plus
Connor,
4.5.
So Connor it's not counting. It's a 2 out of 3. Oh yeah, 2 out of 3. Okay. I think it's 2 out of 3.
2 out of
that
the group.
Ohio.
No.
Oh,
It's 2 out of 3.
Oh, sorry. 2 and 3 is what I should have said.
Okay.
Our record was 2
What
wins.
were you about
3
to say about
losses.
Ohio?
Well, he did go to
What were you about to say about Ohio, Mr. Montana? My bad.
He did go to Montana.
It's a new week. Connor had Gaethje plus 136 money line over Raphael that won, and Manuch had Knicks plus 4.5. They lost by 4 against the Lakers, but they covered.
2 minutes.
Rock,
2 minutes.
Start us off.
All right. I lost this already. I know this is, it was just, I couldn't find anything, and I was looking for anything that was double digit just to take a chance. USC is coming off an overtime win with Rutgers. They're playing back-to-back. Purdue hasn't played since last Friday, so my only thought process is they're rusty, so I'm taking USC to 10.5. They're not going to win, but they're going to cover.
All right, I got Arkansas plus 3.5 versus Ole Miss. That game in the books already. They lose by 3. They pretty much covered. John Calipari taking any team to the tournament, what he's done this year. So it looks like I've got the victory for that one already.
No.
Yeah, I
No.
made that at night last night.
Dude,
This
is just horse. You know what, Manuch?
I made
You're
the
better
pick
than
last
this.
night.
Who cares? We weren't doing a show yesterday.
That made a difference. You make your
Yes,
pick
it
in the
does.
morning.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Of the day of the day.
Yeah. I made it at 1:30 in the morning last night.
It goes that. So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
Just, and I don't care. I'll blow off the break here,
Yeah.
Connor, because this pisses me off. So we can change a line.
Yeah.
At 2:25 accurately, right?
Sure.
So okay. But that's because the game hasn't been played. We can change the line.
Yeah.
So I could have changed the line last night. Then is what you're saying?
No. The line was 3.5 last night at 1:30 in the morning.
Where's your common sense?
What are you talking about?
No, dude.
If
You can't do a underdog pick live on the radio when the game already happened.
The whole
No,
point
no,
is
no,
for
no.
The whole
underdogs
point
to
is
be
the
later.
underdog.
I get
Come
it.
on. No, you don't
I
get it.
understand.
Then
I
say
made-
yes. You're right, Rob.
I made the underdog pick late last. I made it yesterday late last
Clear
night.
to toss whenever
Then
you're
maybe
done.
get the F up earlier and do it on the day
I
of.
did it the day of 1:30 in the morning. The
Manuch.
line never changed. I checked it at
It doesn't
8:30.
matter. We're doing a live pick on air.
Yeah.
You can't. I could do that. So what if I put my pick in? All right, 10 minutes ago. All right, I'm going to take Duke. Today or whatever.
I made the pick before the game. That's the
but
bottom line.
The whole point is you're doing it publicly.
Yeah.
No one knows. No one's on our lineup. No one knows what these picks are.
I get
we
all
do
that.
a live local show.
I get
we
all
do
that.
underdog picks. We do them live on the air. You can't pick a game that already played in the morning.
I get it, but I picked
No,
it.
you don't get it.
And I'm saying, hey,
Who
I
gives
won.
you know what? You did it in the morning at 1:30. You're the one who can't sleep.
I'm going to appeal. I'm going to appeal that one.
All right, who's the boss of the show?
Yeah.
Appeal right now because it doesn't
All right,
count.
let's all take a vote. All right.
Yeah.
In favor of Manuch keeping his underdog pick
Of a game it already this morning.
Right. All right. Then I'll go with if that's the case, I'm going to say I'm going to say Mississippi State's my dog. Mizzou, they're going to get 3.5 against Missouri.
Good.
That game starts at 4.
Very
I'll do
good.
that one. How's
Jimmy?
that?
Boy, I don't know if I
Just take it. Just tell us. We got to go to break.
Okay, fine. I'm going to take Iowa Hawkeyes in this game tonight. Big Ten Conference Tournament. They are
Jax.
playing Illinois, and I'm getting 10.5.
I'm going to go Oklahoma plus 6.5 versus Kentucky. Connor, before you say your pick, you got to do points, my friend. You can't do all money lines.
Yeah.
I mean, jeez. And
What the heck?
yeah, you and your money line with the stupid UFC last week.
This guy's just trying to.
These are underdog picks.
This guy doesn't want to face the underdogs. Connor?
Yeah, I don't know, man. What the hell's wrong with picking an underdog as a winner?
No, because it's 3 points minimum.
Because it's just, I get it. Whatever. Give me San Diego State minus 3.5.
Okay. You're lucky it's 3.5. You would have said 2.5. We're like, ah. All right, the sports professor's next. Rick Horo. But first, here's Jax with another ESPN sport. But is this going to be? Did you write this yesterday, and then you're going to do the local update now, or is this accurate? This is like
accurate
fresh stuff. Okay. All right, get to it.
It's now time for your Rock Minutes with Jimmy B's bottom of the hour local Phoenix ESPN 620 Sports Center update, sponsored by Weekapaw Casino and Resort. I'm Jackson Groff. The Kansas Jayhawks and the Arizona Wildcats are set to square off shortly at 3:30 p.m. on ESPN. Kansas took the first matchup, defeating Arizona 83-76 last Saturday. In NFL news, the Arizona Cardinals are making moves, signing former Cleveland Browns defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson to a 2-year, $29 million deal with $16 million guaranteed. That was posted last night. Get ready to join us for a huge $100,000 bracket contest happening now at win@weekapaw.com. Don't miss out on your chance to win big, and also attend our Final Four event at WKP Sports Center. All the details and more, just visit rockandmanuch.com. Rockandmanuch.com, as well as win@weekapaw.com to fill out your $100,000 bracket. I'm Jackson Groff. Rick Horo joins the guys next.
Time to talk about the business side of sports. Leading expert in the
Mics are hot.
With the new bestseller, The Sport Business Handbook. Host of Power of Sports and architect of over 100 deals worth billions in sports, the sports professor Rick Horrow joins Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, we're out here at Twin Peaks, Scottsdale, one of our guests' favorite places when he's in town. Rick Horrow joins us now on the right side of the guest side. Rick, I want to start with UNLV and their new coach, Dan Mullen, and their AD, Eric Harper. It came out today that they won't have enough money to pay his last 3 years of his salary because of the issues they're having in their athletic department. Is this more common than we hear? You think there's more situations like this at other schools? We just don't hear about it?
Yeah, I don't think we usually hear about teams talking about running out of money. I think this is one of those tactics where it's not a tactic. It's just that with all of the uncertainties that college sports is going through these days, you've got to figure out how to deal with this house settlement and all of the other things that NIL has brought on. And this is one of the unintended consequences. So I'm not sure that I would, jump all over them for failing. It's just this may be one of the things that's going to kind of flag, all over the country. I know a lot of athletic directors are feeling the pinch, even though they don't want to talk about it publicly.
Do you think it's maybe a ploy to kind of wake up the alumni, wake up some of the partners in the city and say, hey, we this is in an indirect way, cry for help?
Every athletic director cries for help in some context.
Yeah.
This is a little more aggressive than most, but I give him credit for, as you would say, waking up the alumni. And if Dan Mullen and the UNLV people are trying to create a new day with higher expectations, as they are, then, look at the dollars it's going to cost. That's not a bad strategy.
Rick, isn't this money, though, when you put that kind of a contract out there with a coach earmarked for that amount of money over the next 5 years? I mean, that's the thing that's somewhat confusing. How do you make an offer to a guy knowing that you don't have the last three unless all of a sudden the last month you realize, we're going to be broke the last 3 years? I mean, that's the thing that's kind of perplexing.
Rumor has it that KTAR extended big dollars to the three of you. Did you think they have the money in the bank today?
Yeah, okay.
But we wouldn't have signed unless those dollars were there, though.
Yeah, we'd have our handlers working on that.
Wow.
We'd hire a good attorney like yourself, maybe a Northwestern guy.
Or a Harvard guy. Thank you. Or that you're much brighter than everybody else. It is a long-term spending for multi-year contracts. There's a difference between having the money physically in the bank and having the financial ability to borrow against it. And my sense is, without knowing the financial statements at UNLV, I'm not too worried about Dan Mullen walking away from the contract because it's a breach right now because they don't have the money to pay for it down the road. And I'm pretty sure that there was I'm not pretty sure. I'm guessing there was an orchestrated conversation about what can be said that's truthful and kind of stirs up the alumni. I think you're absolutely right.
Since Northwestern was brought up and you're an alumnus of them, are you guys kind of snobby on where you stay, like hotels where you stay? The report that you guys are complaining where the Big Ten put you, for the tournament. Is that just something about Northwestern people?
Well, it's ultimately, a precursor for things to come, because when we end up hiring people who are, are the people who will bring our bags and stuff, we'd like it to happen at a nicer hotel. It's like, when you realize that people who go to the school just are trained for, the life to boss other people around, you got to deal with that.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. I can't believe you even brought this stuff up.
Well, it's just, Sports Business Journal today, that Chris Collins, the coach, is upset that the players' rooms were 85 degrees. They couldn't figure it out. And he's really upset with the Big Ten and putting them into Sheraton.
Yeah. Listen, you should be upset. You should be upset at the Sheraton for not being able to control its temperature.
Yeah.
Not the Big Ten. So I get, your take
Okay.
I mean, there are ways to deal with this. You deal with Sheraton because it's too warm. You deal with the stock of hotels in a given city, but don't take it out on my school.
Okay. All right. Manuch, go ahead. Ask him something that has nothing to do with Harvard or Northwestern.
Speaking of the, you got the conference tournaments, and then the March Madness starts next week. No matter if you're Bangor Maine Tech or the Catawba Red Raiders, what's somewhat the minimum once you make the tournament? Whether you play one game, you're one and done. What kind of minimum money are we talking from the NCAA with this, Rick?
Barely enough to cover expenses, but yet everybody's excited about the nature of what it means to be a 16th seed, and also a last seed. The ACC tournament this year was interesting because Miami didn't make it, everybody else kind of did, and everybody at the beginning of the year, at the beginning of the week, had mathematical chances.
Right.
They could chart their course to the Final Four. All it takes is winning and continuing to win and win. Of course, they won't, but that's the deal. And money is almost secondary in that context because reaching the promised land of the NCAA tournament guarantees you nothing. Guarantees you one game, and you get a percentage either by the conference or by the school, depending on your conference rules. Each game represents a unit, not a win, but a game. And, if you win one, you get 2 units because you play in the second game. And then that's set out against the expenses. And often an athletic department is going to celebrate the fact that if they're a low seed and they get lucky or they catch fire and they hit to be involved in the tournament, they're going to want to bring their band and their alums and their boosters. It's a pretty damn expensive proposition, but it's showing off the success for the entire year. So many athletic directors kind of will do it blindly and not put it in the context of revenues and expenses and pluses and minuses.
Rick Horrell's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. So you live in Florida. Florida Panthers are the defending NHL Stanley Cup champions. Are the tensions now between Canada and the United States in your estimation, going to continue into the NHL playoffs? And if so, how bad could it get?
I think a lot of this, here I am on economics and on Donald Trump. I don't want to do that. But I do want to say that I think there are ways to work all this stuff out in the shorter term. Beginning of the week, we were going to put 100-something% tariffs on electricity across the border. Now that's not going to happen. Now we're focusing on a 200% tariff on booze with Europe. So it's not as if all of this is short term, but I think there's much more in common than there is separate. And we know that Wayne Gretzky is accompanying Gary Bettman on a number of these fact-finding visits to cities as Ovechkin makes his end-of-season trip to Canadian cities to try to go after the record.
Yep.
And part of that deal is,
3 minutes.
Mending tour. Because at the end of the day, we have, again, a lot more commonalities than differences. Even though the exchange rate is 70%, I get it. A lot more differences economically.
Rick, we know you're short on time, buddy. Thanks for a few minutes today. Have a good weekend.
Awesome. My time is your time, except not today. We'll see you next
week. That's the sports professor, Rick Horrow. Follow him on X, Twitter, at Rick Horrow. Also, check him out on rickhorrow.com. Locally, the Mercury have a new jersey patch partner as we talk about the business side of sports. And on a local level, they signed a new company called Flipper. I've never heard of Flipper. It is a lifestyle apparel company. It's the first apparel brand to land a WNBA jersey patch, and they will rotate on all their jerseys. I guess they have another sponsor as well. So interesting that a company, maybe it was because what it costs to actually share a patch placement with another company. I find that very hard to believe. If you're the patch partner, you should be exclusive and you should be prominent and you should be the only one. But hey, that's why I'm sitting here, not in the marketing department for Flipper. Anyway, I don't even know who Flipper is.
Flipper was
it was a
show
TV show
many years
about a dolphin.
Yeah, I mean, I knew.
But you would know if Flipper would be. Well, it's a hell of a show, by the way. 65, 66, 67. There you go. That a boy, Connor.
Yeah.
Wow.
What a chance is you having that sound?
There you go. Exactly.
seriously.
Flipper right there.
You didn't know I was going to talk about Flipper apparel.
That was great.
Oh, geez. All right, coming up, we need a contestant to challenge one of the beautiful Twin Peaks girls. We'll have one of the young ladies here in Scottsdale. Last week, Casey from the Santan Valley won, defeated one of the young ladies. We were at Deer Valley last week. So we'll take a contestant, the fifth caller at 602-230-0620. That's 602-230-0620. You listen to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from the Scottsdale Twin Peaks.
An ESPN 620 listener for 3 games. Get the most picks right. Win a $25 man card for one of the 5 Valley Twin Peaks locations.
Making those mics hot now.
It's Glendale, Tempe, and Deer Valley. Now, time for Peaks Picks.
All right, we're going to fly through this quickly. It's brought to you today by Bud Light and Neutral and the Fan Pick'em, our $10,000 bracket contest. Open up to the first 1,000 people. Go to fanpick'em.com. This is our 16th year, I believe, with Twin Peaks, so we're pretty excited. And we got new on board is Bud Light and Neutral, so they'll be big partners of ours, and they'll be having specials throughout the tournament at all 5 Valley locations. So Jimmy in Phoenix, he gave us our scores. We'll get those from Connor here in a moment. Jordan, yes, they're busy right now here at Twin Peaks with the weather. Usually when it rains during spring training, everybody just flocks to the bars, which is good for business. So we're happy for them. But let's get to the picks here. Arizona, KU tonight. Who's Jordy going with there, Jax?
Jordy's going with Kansas.
Okay, Connor. Who's Jimmy going with?
Jimmy was going with Arizona.
Okay.
All right, second game, the Lakers at the Bucks. That game tonight. Jackson, which way is Jordy leaning?
The Lakers.
All right, Connor.
Jimmy was also going Lakers.
I like Jimmy's name. I can tell you that. Suns and Sacramento, not tonight, but tomorrow night. I need the winner and the score. What did Jordy do, Jack?
Yeah, Jordy said Suns win 115 to 110.
Connor?
Jimmy's
got the Kings winning 121 to 116.
All right, good stuff there as the ladies overall lead 15 to 9. 15 to 9. So good stuff. So again, our bracket contest, fanpick'em.com, Bud Light Neutral. Get in. There are opportunities to win after every round. $10,000 at stake. Fanpick'em.com or rockandmanuch.com. So check it out. Our random fact of the day is this. You guys like Pringles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Used to knock the whole thing out at one.
What percentage of the Pringle is a potato?
Oh, really? One of those like McRib kind of things?
No. Why do you assume that?
Because McRib
you always think there's a catch with these random facts.
I'll say 90% is potato.
Jimmy?
I'll say 10%.
10%? Really?
Yeah.
Have you ever had a Pringle?
Yeah, I like Pringles.
You know it's potato chips.
I know.
You
I
think
like
there's
it.
only 10%?
They come in the canister. Yes,
Yeah,
I know what they are.
I like how you show me how to.
I can go. Hey, when it's this big, you have to do things.
Hey, Donald, relax over there. Relax over there.
Jackson?
I'm I love Pringles. I think it's 100% potato.
Okay. And Connor, how would you like to guess on this one?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty close with Jackson there. As it being a potato chip, I think it's got to be a pretty well potato based. I'm going at least 90%.
So first, I'm going to just let you guys know and disappoint you that they're not potato chips. They're potato crisps.
Crisps, okay.
Okay.
Define potato crisp.
It is something that has wheat starch, flour, oil, salt, and seasoning, and it's a Pringle because it's only 42% potato.
Okay.
Wow. I mean, just that's
so they're not legally allowed to be called potato chips.
It's Pringle.
They're Pringle. They're actually
Crisp.
potato crisps.
Oh, therein lies. So there's no truth in advertising with that too. It's like the McRib.
It's got potato in it.
Hey, we made a lot of fun of Kyler Murray over the years for Fortnite. He knows.
Yeah.
Well, Shohei Ohtani is the latest athlete to hit Fortnite battlegrounds, as he's a character that is now in the is in Fortnite. I've never played Fortnite. I don't even know what it is. It's a video game, but he will be the first major leaguer that's featured in Fortnite. Tell us about Fortnite there, Jax. You're our Fortnite guy.
Yeah, it's a battle royale game. I'm going to try to dumb it down for you oldies out there because on my generation and Connor plays Fortnite. You basically have 100 players in one game. It's a battle royale.
So
kill or be killed.
So, like, you'd be one, and then there'd be 90
Yeah,
other.
so
you have to play with 100 people?
Yeah, we'd all be in the field, and I would try to kill you guys with weapons that you find on the battlegrounds. And you also can build shelter and stuff to deflect. That way, you know how they did back in, I guess, Special Forces, Army, Navy, stuff like that as well. And as you continue to go, the circle shrinks, and only one person can win.
So let me ask you, where do you find the 99 other people to play Fortnite with you?
The servers. You join a game, and the servers of Fortnite get all these people from around the world into one game.
Is there always 100 people?
Oh, yeah.
So there's
a
not
lot
a situation
of people
where
that
you're sitting there like, oh, come on. Dude.
It probably
How
takes
long is it gonna
maybe
take to play
30
this
seconds.
game?
Sometimes it takes a minute. I mean, Connor, I don't know if you play Fortnite too, if you want to add to this, but the servers, I mean, there's people on it 24/7, and it's a big world we live in. Fortnite's very popular, especially the kiddos. They love playing it.
Wow. I was a great Pac-Man player.
Jackson, you gave that like the most in-depth Fortnite explanation. I couldn't hit it any better. I mean, for anybody who didn't pick it up, that was the way.
Yeah,
I gotta say, as a gamer, that sounds pretty spot on. But it's crazy because you talk about it. There, you mentioned the kids and everybody playing it. Yeah, Ross. So you're maybe waiting 30 seconds, but there's always going to be a way to fill up that lobby.
So you're trying to kill the other 99 people.
Yeah, and then on top of that, you can
so
have,
now
you
you
can
got.
have
Why would I
squads.
want to kill Shohei Ohtani?
He's part of the enemy.
You want to
Rock.
win.
He's an enemy.
Oh, he's part of the enemy right there.
Or
Maybe
you
you're
can
a
be
Giants
Shohei
fan.
Ohtani.
Oh,
You could be him as a character.
Now there was a guy who's making like 500,000 a year doing this. Guy, how do you make money? How does a guy make all that money?
Streaming where there's tournaments.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
A lot of gaming tournaments.
last one standing. Now, is it like if you have you ever won?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, so
Rock, how dare you ask?
It's
Come on,
hard, but
well,
I played
if
it.
there's
Jax,
but if there's
come on.
100 people playing,
Yeah.
that's your odds are pretty tough.
It's a tough game to win. for
Rock.
sure. You get solos, you can do duos, so it's you and someone else. You can do all four of us.
I
could play a game.
honestly would love to interview Kyler Murray and not ask him one football question and just ask him about Fortnite
Well,
because
he
he's
plays
obviously really
Call
good.
of Duty. He plays Call of Duty.
Oh, Call of Duty he
Oh,
plays.
that's
All right, I'm
different.
sorry.
Oh, okay.
So what's Call of Duty opposed to Fortnite?
Call of Duty is
4 minutes.
basically
4
the
minutes.
same thing as Fortnite Warzone, but it's more like real life military stuff. It's not like funny games or funny characters, and you can't really build. It's about real life, kind of portraying like Army, Navy, and stuff like that.
Do I dare ask? Have you won that too? There,
I
Jeff?
have one.
Well,
yes.
why does that not surprise
Are there
you?
100 people in that too?
There are. I think the 100 may be like 65, 70. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey,
All right, let's move on. Daily Digit is 10. That's the amount of Friday night ACC football games that'll be played in the upcoming season. Man, they are just it's going to be games on Monday.
Yep.
Going up against Monday Night Football. I mean, college football is going to do everything they can to get eyeballs,
They are.
and they need to generate revenue. Or I should say, the networks are putting them on. I don't blame them. Friday night, there's not much going on. I know we always try to defend high school football, but there's a huge percentage that's not going to watch high school football.
That's gone now with everything that's taken place in the NIL
3 minutes.
era.
3 minutes.
Everything is on the table right now for all of the television networks.
We got to follow up on a story that I mentioned many months ago that Ohio was going to start paying their high school kids like NIL type stuff.
Well,
That their school, like I think, or maybe in Pittsburgh area, maybe in Pennsylvania, where schools and it's happening right now. Look at Brophy. You got every kid who dad played the NFL is on that team, right, Manuch?
Well,
I mean, come on, how does that just work out? You're gonna tell me every kid there is smart enough to get into Brophy?
Here's how some of the parochial schools work. If there's a young man that needs help, they'll scholarship him to the school.
They'll sponsor him.
They'll sponsor, scholarship him. They're like the McNabbs and Fitzgeralds and
Catholic schools have been doing that forever.
Exactly.
Forever.
So,
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I mean, I'm a Catholic kid. I think it's great. I mean, but Brophy is
2
school.
minutes.
Right?
2
they've
minutes.
got.
And you always used to hear, Hamilton and Chandler in football, and right down the street from where we're at, Chaparral and Pinnacle for baseball. It's like, come on.
Chaparral allegedly used to have these apartments across the street that just happened to be empty at any particular time. And I'm not saying football, baseball, basketball. I've heard allegedly that if guys moved into the district, this is before the transfer rule, Rock.
Oh, yeah.
That they would just happen to have some apartments right across the street.
Let me ask you, there is no transfer rule anymore, right?
There still is, yeah. So the way it is now, if you transfer to, say, Chaparral,
okay,
and you want to play varsity, you got to sit
1
5
year?
games. No, 5 games.
5 games, yeah.
Now, if you
want to go to Saguaro.
Yeah, exactly. So here's the way
Just
it is
use
now.
that example.
So if you're a freshman and you want to go to transfer Saguaro, okay, and you got all this talent, right? Well, you can go and play. You can play the entire JV year, or if you're going to be a varsity guy, you got to sit 5 games.
Okay,
so you got to make a decision.
So let me ask you this: just use the quarterback.
1
position,
minute.
all right?
1 minute.
There's a kid, a freshman. You see him before anybody. Yeah. He's a stud at Chaparral.
Right.
You're the head coach at Saguaro, and you're like, man, I need a quarterback for next year.
Well, if he transferred in and went to varsity, you have to sit 5 games. He could transfer and play the whole entire JV year, and then but he could play.
So he could play JV though.
He could play all JV,
right away JV.
Right away JV, but he could not play varsity that year.
So if the kids get paid, he can play JV. You laugh, but you know it's
30
happening.
seconds.
Hey, Howard
30
Baldwin's
seconds.
going to join us, Cardinals beat writer, on his take on the free agent signings. But right out of the gate, I got some news about the Coyotes' former owner on being compelled to sell the franchise. We're going to get into that. Yeah, hockey talk here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy
Zone is home for the worldwide leader in sports. Is ESPN 620. And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, now on ESPN 620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at arizonasports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900.
Mics are hot.
ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
All right, thanks for tuning in. Roc, Manuch. Jimmy's going to be leaving here in a moment. We got Jackson Connor as the storm is hitting, at least where we are at here in Scottsdale. I'm sure all over the valley it's going nuts. What's Desert Doppler tell you, Manuch?
It looks like it's going really a lot northeast of us right now, but right around 4:35, we should have rain here in Scottsdale.
I love old people.
Yeah.
You know,
Hey,
here's the
don't put
thing.
me in there with him.
You're totally in there. You're more in it than he is. You're the one who started the show at 1 o'clock saying, oh, my gosh, I may have to get out of here early. I'm not going to be able to drive in this weather.
I never said that. I just said
it's true.
You goobers who drive 85 miles an hour in a rainstorm.
You guys, you older guys, it's the thing is, it's like if you lost your phone and you could just go into a grocery store, run into the oldest guy you know, and you can ask him the weather, and he'll know exactly what it is.
I just showed Jimmy the Doppler during the break.
You did?
Yeah,
He did.
I showed it.
Oh, I just made that up.
No, he did.
The reason why I
So sad.
I just canceled all my quarterback training at 5 because
Oh
of the
my gosh!
wind,
Just
rain.
you know, if you could get your quarterback university really flying, and if you could get Brock signing a contract, maybe you could buy an indoor facility.
I would love to, man.
A
I'd
big
do
bubble,
that.
or I don't know why you got so much pool. Why can't you use the ASU bubble for your stuff?
Let's talk about usage, insurance, all the above. I'll be paying them to use. I wouldn't be making any money. Business decisions, Rock.
We're out here at Twin Peaks, Scottsdale, as I mentioned, as they have already started their St. Patty's Day drink specials. They got a costume party as all the ladies are all dressed up. They have shot and straight pour deals going on. Jameson only $8. Green teas, one of my favorite. They're only $7. You got the Irish car bombs. You got the Irish cocktails going, like the Irish Mule, the Irish coffee, which Irish coffee will go well today, and the espresso martinis as well. Of course, Guinness. You got to have Guinness this time of year. So that's all going on at all 5 Valley locations. Now, we talked about ASU. Mullet Arena, if you remember, that was where the Coyotes played for those 2 years. Well, Alex Morello is in the news saying that the NHL compelled him to suspend his franchise rights, and he is seeking he wants his Mullet Arena security deposit back. So if you look back, and you laugh, but I mean, okay, here's the deal. You know, he is pushed to sell the team for $1.2 billion. So I'm not worried about his money, right?
Right.
They moved to Salt Lake, you know, after nearly 3 decades of this hockey team just always wrapped in some, problems with their
controversy,
rating.
minutia.
So today, Ice Arizona, the company that owned the team, that owns the Tucson Roadrunners, which is the minor league team, filed a suit with the Maricopa County Superior Court against the Arizona Board of Regents, which they oversee all the public universities like University of Arizona, Arizona State. And at the issue is $3.5 million of a security deposit for the use of Mullet Arena on the campus of Arizona State. That, of course, is where they played the last 2 seasons. The Coyotes don't want Arizona. We know that. They're not coming back. But he wants his money. The Oakview Group with OBG Venues, which is a company that manages the arena to use the facility for 3 years. 2 years into the contract and just a few days left in the 2023-24 campaign, that's when Morello executed the sale of the franchise to the Smith Entertainment Group in Utah. This lawsuit is saying, at least from Ice Arizona, that, quote, compelled by the NHL to agree to suspend its franchise rights and sell its hockey operation assets. Basically, in a nutshell, they were kind of forced to do this and get out of this lease. He offered to play the Tucson Roadrunners to play at Mullet. Yes. They could have played at Mullet, and they offered a few games as well. But that never really came to fruition. So they never got the $3.5 million security deposit that they wanted. So they're refusing, Oakview Group and the Board of Regents, to give him that money. He's going to fight it. He's probably not going to win. He got a big check.
He did.
I don't think the problem with Alex Morello, he wasn't well liked in the community. If he was more well liked, I think things could have worked out. I think the vote would have went through. The stories of Alex Morello with his little dog going to meetings and the things that you heard about him and Junior Morello, who the employees that worked there, not all of them really had issues and weren't treated well. I think if there was a little bit more of a likable Alex Morello,
more cooperative.
Yeah, I think things would have worked well.
The first thing I think about is, okay, you say he was forced to sell, forced to move on. Well, if he can prove that, and if this thing goes to court, and he can say, hey, look, I was forced to sell this franchise. I was forced. Meantime, I put this deposit down on Marina.
But wait. He was not forced to sell the team. Well, yeah, forced to sell the team. Yes. But with that meant he had to get out of this lease.
Correct. Okay. So if this is probably.
He was forced to get out of the lease. It was basically an act of God, right? Yeah. It's like, oh, my gosh. What do they. Well, I don't know what that word is. Mature.
I know what you're saying.
It's a force majeure.
Yeah. Force majeure.
Yeah.
Yeah, force majeure. But I mean, if he can prove malice, then he might have a case. Otherwise, okay, I sold the team for whatever, and part of that deal was me getting out of the lease, and then he wants his deposit back. I call that, well, there's two things here. Price of doing business. You made your billions or whatever. In the meantime, if he can prove that, well, not only that, but I was forced to sell the team. I was forced to break the lease, but we're only 2 years in. I want either a percentage or pro rata share of my deposit.
That's my question. Yeah. Is the $3.5 million for all 3 years that he's trying to recoup, or he was there for 2, which means he would only have 1 year left?
I think it's a 1 year is what they're claiming. This Ice Arizona is claiming that they offered to have the Roadrunners play their home games in that arena.
I remember that.
And if they would have, I think that would have been great for us as hockey fans, right? But OVG and the Board of Regents said only a few games. But what's interesting is this Coyotes lease allowed for only NHL games, not minor league hockey games.
Oh.
So any of the changes would have had to be approved by the Board of Regents.
Right.
That's critical there.
That's
that the lease was written that way
for NHL.
That only NHL games, not minor league hockey. They should have said professional hockey, and maybe there would be a loophole there.
Then that's a Morello to be able to correct that or say, wait a second. No, we want, to your point, professional hockey. We're a minor league team, and that's where the Board of Regents go, hey, look, we said NHL. We didn't say minor league. But I just think that maybe they settle up out of court for the amount of money, the pro rata share, the 3 years, $3.5 million, maybe pay him $1.5 million. You move on and say, okay, you weren't there for the third year of a 3-year commitment. Just here's your $1.5 million, move on. Because it might cost him, hell, he may drag this bad boy to court.
Right.
You might get in front of a jury, and they might say, well, you said this, and they might give him, if they owe him, let's say, if they did $1.5 million for that last year, they might give him $5, $6, $7 million.
And who gets that money? Does OVG get the money? Does the Board of Regents get that money? What do they do with that $3.5 million? Well, now, if you're an ASU guy and maybe it goes into some improvements to Mullet or
operations,
who knows?
Yeah.
Mullet Arena happened because the Coyotes.
Yes.
Let's just.
It did.
I know ASU fans aren't going to agree with that, but it's so nice and it's such a high level of a building. That's why. Yeah. It's because they had to get it to the standards of an NHL franchise, in which they did. All right, one other story. You can now officially buy a Marvin Harrison jersey. So yesterday, New York Supreme Court, there was a case between Harrison and the Fanatics collectibles, it has been settled. If you recall, there was a deal where the Fanatics had a deal with Harrison, and there was a breach of contract and all this other BS. And this all stems from his days at Ohio State, but that has all been cleared. So now you can get your Marvin Harrison Jr. So this whole year, the number one pick.
Yeah.
You had a really good first year. You couldn't get a jersey, an official jersey.
I wonder what the settlement was, that maybe Fanatics gets a percentage besides NFL, and they might get a percentage of whatever he sells it for.
I think it was a 3-year deal that he signed in college.
Yeah.
There's 2 years left. I think he had one more year. Would have been this upcoming year. Would have been his last year with Fanatics, and now he can.
So I'm sure they might have said, "All right, here's a check for whatever.
Yeah.
I get my money from the jersey sales."
Coming up, we got the Players' Championship, and it looks beautiful there. Jax is going to have a Putting World update there. And would you drink a cheesesteak milkshake? We're live from Twin Peaks, Scottsdale, right here on ESPN 620, 987 HD2.
Let's drop some putts and talk some golf, courtesy of the Putting World in Scottsdale. An elevated 18-hole golf experience with a chef-driven restaurant called Bar 19 that offers birdies.
Making Mike's hot.
Eat it, drink it, sink it. Putting World.
Players Championship underway, presented by Putting World. The leaders, we have a three-way tie at the top at 6 under apiece. Lucas Glover, JJ Spawn, and Camilo Vagias all at the top there at 6 under. Minwoo Lee, my personal favorite, at 5 under, just below them. Alex Smiley, Stephen Yeager and Aaron Rye alongside Denny McCarthy, Chandler Phillips, and Billy Horschel, and Rory McIlroy, all tied for 5th at 4 under. Scotty Scheffler 3 under, just behind that group at tied for 18th. And then, guys, I got to talk about this couple guys, but one guy specifically, Max Homa, 7 over, tied 140th. Him alongside Victor Hovland, 8 over. Those two, but specifically Max Homa. He had a club change. He had a swing change 3 months before the tournament, Jimmy B. And him starting off like this, it's not going to be good for the major season.
I'm with you on that 100%. Look, the guy's been struggling, and that's why he tried to go through that. So far, it hasn't paid off for him yet.
Camilo Villegas. That's how you say it.
That's how you say it.
Villegas.
Villegas.
Should have Jimmy B do that.
Yeah. Camilo Villegas.
All right, tonight at Putting World, birdies and brews, $19 unlimited putting and a free beer. How about that? A draft beer. Plus, they got this is for Jimmy, $5 drink specials for the ladies all night. How about that? Tomorrow and Saturday, Bar 19. They got live music from 7 to 10 p.m. and $19 of unlimited golf. Friday's band is People Who Could Fly, and then Saturday is the Dean Nelson Band. If you want more information, go to puttingworld.com. So there you have it. Players Champions going on right now.
A lot of fun.
Jax, what hole is it they got off the tee by? They got hit underneath that tree that hangs over the
hole number 6.
Is it hole 6?
Yeah.
They got hit like a 3-wood stinger.
17 gets all the attention, but I love 18 as the final hole. We're watching it here at Twin Peaks. It's just a narrow fairway, got all the water on the left. I remember last year, Scotty Scheffler had a 1-stroke lead. Wyndham Clark and I believe Xander Schauffele had a chance to tie to go to a playoff in the last hole and both missed.
And is this number 18?
Yes, that's 18.
It's so similar to Pebble Beach 18.
With
the water on the left side.
Yes, now that you say
I think
that,
Torrey Pines has got one very similar.
He just hit that woman.
Yeah, it's the lady.
With a drive.
I think that's so funny when I go to a lot of tournaments, and you guys know I like to go to one major every year. This year I'm going to the British Open. Is the people that go crazy where the golf ball lands.
Sure. Yeah.
They go flying.
They do.
Just to try to get next to. Hey,
here it is.
It's like they've
Here it
never.
is.
And it's not that. It's just like they've never seen a golf ball before.
Yeah.
But they're at a golf tournament.
That's it.
Well, this last group, too, you got Rory, Scotty, and Xander. So
Yep.
I think a lot of people are going to be going towards the path there.
Do you think we're seeing maybe a resurgence of Billy Horschel?
It's good to see.
He's been popping up a lot.
He has.
And, there's sometimes it's just early in the week, Thursday, Friday, he's still up there on the first page, second page. But, you got to see him play in the TGL
and
same
he played
with Rory.
well.
And,
Well. Yeah.
TGL semifinals are next week, too.
Oh, I can't wait. No, I mean, I actually am into it because there hasn't been anything else to watch. And, and it's gotten better. There's more energy.
Yep.
And, when Josh Allen's having his bachelor party there, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, anyway, what do you think do you think it'd be cool to be a rock and roll roadie?
A roadie?
Yeah.
Well, you got to work to see free concerts.
It wouldn't be bad.
What
I'm not going to talk about this.
What if you could get $12,500 to do it? That's how much Gene Simmons, formerly of Kiss, will allow you to pay him to join the road crew
No,
on an
thanks.
upcoming tour.
No.
Yeah, you pay him. And that doesn't even include a ticket to the show.
Yeah.
You literally have to buy that separately with this deal with Gene Simmons. How about that? That's just, and there are going to be people that are going to do it. There are so many. I know some guys that just love Kiss.
Oh, sure.
And they would do anything to be around Gene Simmons. He's a brilliant marketing guy. Absolutely brilliant.
He is.
And what he was able to do with Kiss, and then all his businesses outside of that, and TV shows, and wow, I don't know about it. Ugh. All right, some milkshakes will bring the boys to the yard. Others will make them barf. University of Miami baseball team, the stadium, I should say, not the team, the stadium recently offered a milkshake combined with a Philly cheesesteak. It's a vanilla shake with an actual cheesesteak and cheese whiz mixed in it.
Oh, man.
It kind of sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, the cheesesteak milkshake was a limited thing only. Kind of like the McDonald's McRib, right?
Yeah.
But there were some guys that really liked it. You know, they like to do different things. They've had a lobster shake. You know, thing is there's players that are from all over the East Coast that play down in Miami.
Yes.
I'm sure there were some Philly guys. I know Villanova's baseball team, they were in town last week, and you know, they were asking about it, but I don't think they're stupid enough to try it. So anyway,
liquefied food and something like a Philly cheesesteak or a lobster sandwich just doesn't do it for me.
What do you think about you know, we always talk about pineapple on pizza.
I don't mind pineapple.
What about
I like pineapple.
What about oranges on a pizza?
No.
No.
Well, there's a place in Australia that's getting a ton of press because of their doing that. The place is called Bubba Pizza. They got about 15 locations, and they've added it on their menu. And they have it's basically a ham and orange pizza, basically Hawaiian. They just substitute the pineapple with orange slices. I mean, I love oranges. I'd try that.
I do too.
Love the oranges on the side.
I might try it, but I don't think that I would like it.
Any self-serving Italian would never have orange on his pizza. Never have at the pizza. Now the pineapple, what do they call that, with the ham on all that kind of stuff? I've tried that. It's okay, but yeah, I'm that traditionalist. You know, pepperoni or cheese, got to have it from there.
So ArizonaSports.com is talking today about the Big 12 Pro Day. There will be 8 Sun Devils and 8 Wildcats. And they are expecting over 200 Big 12 players to participate in. Let me throw this number out. Well, let me see if you can guess the number. How many scouts do you think will be there?
Oh, I bet there's, I'm going to say 85, 90 scouts. They'll be there.
300.
Really?
Wow. I think it's cool that they do that.
Yeah.
Some of those guys that didn't get invited to the NFL Combine,
That's
or
right.
You know, some of these scouts that can't make it out to all of these colleges, you have it at one place. I think they're having it at the Star in Frisco. I think it's a good opportunity.
Sure.
And I know there's some guys on ASU, Shamari Simmons, one of those to me, Manuch, that I think he can have an opportunity to be a third-day guy, and a guy that, you know, the Cardinals maybe get some depth at the safety nickelback position. He's physical.
You know, what you don't realize is that every region for every team's got maybe 4, 5, 6 scouts. So you look at the Southwest region for the Buffalo Bills. There might be 2 or 3. There might be 5 scouts. And you don't realize to that point how many scouts there really are out there throughout the United States. So the guys up in the Northeast or in the Southwest, if you're a talented player in college, they'll find you. They know about you. They'll look at your tape. I think that the pro day situation is really good for a lot of these guys. I wish we'd have had a large pro day where guys would come out. They would just come to our school individually, coaches and GMs, which was great. But to have that many scouts to watch you and be able to evaluate you, and that team doesn't like you, this team might. It just depends.
It's insane how much work these scouts do. I'm looking through, and you see like the Todd McShays, you see the Mel Kipers, and they're setting all the top 300 guys. You got that times 3 because you also got the diamonds in the rough that you're trying to get that are going to be undrafted. A lot of those guys end up turning to be, you know, Hall of Famers or contributors. Like this year, we saw Xavier Thomas, undrafted, ended up getting some reps.
And the other thing too, when you talk to some of these scouts, I've asked a couple guys, how thorough are you on the guys in your area? He said sometimes our report might be a 15, 20-page report on one guy. So when they turn their reports in, let's say that lineman or that receiver or that quarterback, they want to know everything. They, you know, as far as the film is concerned, because they weren't fortunate enough to go to the combine. At the combine, you have all those, but their reports are so thorough. Yeah, did they talk to the English teacher? Did they talk to the trainer? Did they talk to this guy? So when they get that report, and then they come out to pro day, they feel pretty good that they've vetted that potential dividend for their team.
Where do you guys think Cam Scatterboo is going to go?
I think he's about a third rounder.
I feel he's going to go second just because I think the running back group they're going to start flying in the second round.
They will.
And I think the team like the Cowboys could land on a Cam Scatterboo or maybe try to go get another guy. Or you could slip to the third round. That's where it's interesting for the Cardinals.
Yes.
Do you go get him in the second round where you got Trey Benson, but you saw the health of your running back room this year? I think you kind of have to not overpay, but overdraft a guy like him.
Manuch, has there been a player that has been real popular, other than Jake Plummer, real popular in the state of Arizona that maybe the Cardinals drafted as a flyer just because they knew it's good PR? I mean, all of us want to continue to watch Cam Scatterbo here.
I think the last one that you talk about, Jay, I think Pat Tillman was one of those that they took.
Okay,
Yeah,
that makes
Jake,
sense. Yeah.
Pat. I'm sure there's been a couple Sun Devils there, but I look at Cam Scatterbo. I'm like you, Jax. I think second or third round kid. He's faster than people think. Hard runner. We've seen yards after contact. He's got great balance. He catches the ball extremely well. I mean, Cam Scatterbo, he blocks well too. He's a 4-5 tool running back. And they go, well, I've got him down on the board at 10-11. The kid was up for Heisman Trophy candidate. Have you watched him in the big game? So I think a second, third rounder, but there are a lot of it's a very deep running back
There's like
class.
30 to 35 guys that are going to get drafted. And about half of those, maybe I'd say 10 or 12 that could be running back ones.
Sure.
And then you've got about maybe another 10 that could be running back 2, running back 3, which isn't a bad thing. I mean, Manuch, you've seen in the NFL, most teams are trying to replicate what the Lions are doing and have a 2-back
And
system.
what's Cam's height and weight, roughly?
He's about 5'11-ish foot.
No way.
About 5'11", 6 foot.
It says 5'11". I don't buy it.
I don't either. It's closer to 5'9".
Because everybody says McCaffrey, but we didn't see a lot of catching out of the backfield, right? We saw a little bit, but
he did against Texas.
Yeah, but it's not like it was every week. I think he's. I still think Mike Allstott, who was 6'1", 245, a guy that I think makes a lot of sense.
Allstott
right?
He was more of a true fullback.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you got Scatterbo is a true running back.
He went round 2.
Allstott
in 1980.
He was a big man.
He was great at Tampa Bay.
Hey, coming up, we got a update, ESPN 620 Local Sports Center update, and then we will continue talking some football. Is Howard Balzer, Sirius XM NFL Radio, will join us. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Twin Peaks, Scottsdale.
It's now time for your Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B's bottom of the hour local Phoenix ESPN 620 Sports Center update, sponsored by Weekapaug Casino and Resort. I'm Jackson Groff. The Kansas Jayhawks and Arizona Wildcats are set for a highly anticipated rematch that tips off tonight at 6:30 p.m. on ESPN. Kansas took the first matchup, defeating Arizona 83-76 at home in the regular season finale last Saturday. That matchup tonight at 6:30 p.m. In the NFL news, the Arizona Cardinals are making a big move last night, signing former Cleveland Browns defensive tackle Dalvin Tomlinson to a 2-year, $29 million deal with $16 million guaranteed. Get ready to join us at WKP Sportsbook for our giant
15?
Final Four event. It's free to attend. Enjoy $100 props, $100 squares, and don't miss out on our halftime contest where 25 lucky contestants will roll for a jumbo dice to win $50,000. All the details, just head over to rockandmanuch.com. Howard Balzer next.
He's been covering the National Football League for close to 50 years. A longtime NFL writer, broadcaster, and co-host of the Pro Football Hall of Fame show on Sirius X.
I'm making Mike's hot.
Howard Balzer, now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, here to talk some NFL football, specifically the Arizona Cardinals. Howard Balzer, follow him on Twitter, X at hbalzer721. Howard, as you look at this week, wait a second. Let's get to the priorities
yes.
here. Yes. I'm sorry, I was asking Manuch about this earlier. Talk about this Hofstra Career Achievement Award that you got last week. Tell us about that.
Congratulations, Howard.
Yeah, it was a great honor to go back to the old stomping grounds, although I didn't get a chance to see much of it. But it was still a very nice event. The university started this Spotlight Award for Alumni Achievement last year. So this was the second year of it. There were 12 others with me. I wasn't the oldest. I was the second oldest, actually, of all the people honored. But it was kind of nice. It was kind of cool. And, the one thing I told people was interesting. I was sitting at the table with a guy who had graduated only 11 years ago. And he's all involved in all kinds of technological things and AI, stuff and this and that. And as we were talking, he says, I just want you to know, he said, reading the bios of all the people here, yours is the only one, yours is the only job I'd be interested in switching with.
That's great.
Which I think we've probably all gotten at different times over our careers from people saying, boy, I wish I had your job. So, but yeah, it was a great honor and nice to receive and had a chance to go back to Long Island. And my sister lives there. She was able to share it with me with her husband. Saw a couple of my cousins who live there. So it was a nice few days spent on Long Island in New York.
If you think about going back east like that with all the free agent signings, is it still 24/7 Giants, Jets, football? I mean, the sports fan back there just seems to be so much more ingrained or in tune, or maybe just more into it.
Well, I think that, obviously it's the largest city in the country, and they have they have two teams in every sport, basically.
Right.
And so there's so much chatter and so much talk, about everything that it's so big there. And it wasn't as much NFL going on last week because it was all, it was still a week before this insane week that basically began on Monday with the official negotiating. But there were a lot of teams re-signing players before that. But yeah, the Eastern fan, let's be honest, the Eastern fan is a different breed. And whether it's New York, whether it's Philadelphia, whether it's Boston, whatever it is, there's a manic to those fans that is incomparable to a lot of places. I know I'll get people from Chicago mad at me and maybe some people here in Phoenix, and there are manic fans here. But we're talking about the numbers that are born and bred fans of those teams. Let's be honest, here in Phoenix, what's the oldest team is what? Almost 50 years old now with the Suns.
1968.
And so many people here in this area are from somewhere else, but they're great sports fans. Don't get me wrong, but it's a whole, like I said, it's a whole different breed than what it is on the East Coast in those major cities.
All right, looking at the Arizona Cardinals, you got Sweat. I love the Tomlinson signing. Got Gaither. Walker gets picked up from the Commanders, former Falcon. It looks like they're really focusing on that defensive line. What's the issue of the holdup with Kaiser White? Are they allowing him just to kind of go out and about and then come back with, hey, this is the best I have? I would have thought that he would have been one of their priorities to get signed.
I thought it would be, but here's the thing. If we go back to what happened right after the season when Kaiser White was thanking basically everybody in Arizona, that said to me that he was given a message that he was not going to be a priority to be back. And I think that's the reality of it. Great leader, played 100%, I think, if not 100%, very close to 100% of the snaps last year at the Mike linebacker, the guy that relays the signals. But, he's getting up there a little bit in age. He doesn't have the speed, pass coverage. You don't ask your inside linebacker to pass cover that much, but that became an issue. And I think basically, guys, I think they just wanted to get a little bit younger there and more athletic. And so I think that's what it was all about. And this Davis Gaither, I think, is we'll know when the season starts, certainly, but he's an underrated signing. And I know he didn't play all that much. He didn't start that many games in Cincinnati, but you know what? Mack Wilson
didn't start that many games before he came here also. And so they obviously liked something in his game that they saw. He started 6 games at the end of last season when their starter Logan Wilson was hurt, and he had 3 double-digit tackle games. And he played pretty darn good football. And I was told by people in Cincinnati that he's one of those reliable guys. He's always where he's supposed to be, which of course is important in any defense, but certainly in the Cardinals. And I think, like I said, they wanted to go a little more younger and athletic at that position. So I don't know that there's a holdup. I just think they're moving on to somebody else.
Howard Balzer's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Howard, do you think they're pretty much finished, or could you see them chasing a wide receiver that just got released from the LA Rams?
I would doubt that Cooper Kupp would be high on their radar. And I'm not ruling it totally out, but I mean, this is a team that, now Dalvin Tomlinson is a guy who's a little bit up there in age, but obviously what, the needs on the defensive line, they felt was very important to get a big guy on the line like him. I do think they'll look at wide receiver, but I don't know that they would be interested that much in Kupp. And I think he's going to be waiting it out and wanting to go to a team that he knows is a true contender. And obviously money is all about it. And, the one thing I want to say too is that I understand how fans are. Fans want to sign everybody with a name out there. They want to add all these guys. But you know what? The player has to want to come to where you are. Yes. Now, that's not to say that people don't want to come to Arizona. I'm not saying that at all. But when you have teams that have been perennial winners and win year after year are basically in the playoffs, then a lot of players, that's where they want to go, especially when they get to later in their career. So I don't think that Cooper Kupp, I might end up being 100% wrong, but I don't think he'll be, truly on their radar.
Howard Balzer here on ESPN 620. Howard, as you kind of went into the free agency and you were already advancing yourself to the draft and the Arizona Cardinals, from what they have done this week, have you changed any of your thought process on who they need to draft?
Not that much, really, because I thought that, depending if they got an edge, I thought that it would probably come down. Let's remember, you don't know who's going to be there at 16. There's always the chance you'll trade down. Mm-hmm. But I thought the things that made the most sense at 16 would be an edge rusher or on the defensive line, especially the interior. Well, basically in a 3-4, essentially all the linemen are basically interior guys. And so they got it, spent a lot of money on an edge rusher. They have other guys coming back, that they like by re-signing Baron Browning and Xavier Thomas. He started flashing a bit at the end of his rookie season last year. So I'm not saying they won't draft an edge rusher, but I think it becomes perhaps less of an absolute need in that first round. Now, defensive line, I mean, I know a lot of fans soured on Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols, and I've always said you can't evaluate on 11 games. Actually, let me see here, 9 games total that those two guys played. So I know that they hope that they'll come in and be able to play. But, you add Tomlinson, you have Darius Robinson, who it's almost like his rookie season all over again. And you still have Dante Stills and some other guys. So I think that it almost opens it up to say, hey, let's just get the best player that's available there. It might end up being an offensive lineman at guard because I know they like Isaiah Adams, but are they ready to go into the season with him at right guard? Is there a possibility Will Hernandez could come back? I don't know how you can count on that because he's still rehabbing a torn ACL. So it could end up being offensive line. So I think what it does, it opens up perhaps a few more possibilities at when they get to where they are in the first round to get the best player there that fills a need, but not a crying.
2 minutes.
And Howard, all that being said, it seems though what I hear you saying that the Cardinals are at least scratching those itches that they need here in the offseason. I think the other one's a big one is bringing Jacoby Brissett in as a backup quarterback to Kyler Murray. I think that's a huge upgrade from that particular standpoint. And if Kyler does go down, they can feel pretty confident that this is a guy that takes care of the ball, is experienced, and he won't get you in trouble, that's for sure.
No question. And I think the leadership and mentorship involved to have a veteran guy in there, for the off season, in off season practice, during games when things are going crazy, and he can be a good guy to get in Kyler's ear during games. So I think that was a big signing. I thought I remember, 2 years ago when Jacoby Brissett was available, and everyone knew that Kyler Murray wasn't going to be able to play probably until at least halfway through the season, that Brissett would have been a good guy to bring in. But, Washington paid him $8 million. The Cardinals didn't want to go that high for him, and so they just stuck with Colt McCoy for the offseason and totally misjudged his elbow situation, and then had to scramble and get Joshua Dobbs just before the season started. So, yeah, I definitely believe that was a good signing. He actually gets less average per year than what he got from Washington 2 years ago. And so he's definitely a plus, no question, to have on the roster, and another underrated addition that they've had. And so, everyone wants to spend tons of money and all this. The cap room disappears, pretty quickly. A lot of guys don't realize that I didn't think they were going to tender Greg Dortch because that cost over $3.2 million. I thought they tried to get him signed for a little bit less, but perhaps they couldn't, and they felt they wanted him back. Well, that's $3.2 million goes right off the cap. And so, they've already signed 12 or 13 guys, and we don't know the cap numbers on a bunch of them, but that cap space disappears.
Clear to wrap.
Will realize. And I still think there'll be guys out there for them to add, but it's not going to be a big time contract.
What kind of number would to add one Asante Samuel Jr.? What would that be? I mean, he's in for a visit. Hey, if he's coming in, they're hosting him. Howard, I don't let him out of the building until I get him signed.
It's interesting about that because a lot of these guys don't visit anymore. I remember 5 years before the pandemic and all that. I remember when free agency hit, and maybe a few years before the pandemic. I mean, free agency would start, and guys were, taking visits all over the country, going to this team and that team and all that. So you can meet a guy and get him up front and club. Yeah. Now it's just signing guys sight unseen. And so what I saw today, guys, we're only on the second day of the league year. Now, I know all the negotiations began Monday, but what we saw, there's been close to 250 unrestricted free agents signed already, either switching teams or re-signing. And we've seen a lot of teams getting ahead of the game by re-signing their own guys because they realize if they can get those guys re-signed, then you don't – because if then you can go out and try to replace them, a lot of times it's more expensive. So try to get it done. And so what we have today, I saw there's been about 30 guys or so that have reached agreements today, and virtually everyone is a one-year contract. Yeah. And so we're already in the second or third wave of free agency. And Samuel, depends if there's not a whole lot of interest from other teams, solid, good player. He hasn't been as great as some predicted he would be. So I think there might not be a one-year deal, but a lot of these 2-year deals are 1 year and then another, stuff added on in the second year that you can get out of it if you want to. And so I wouldn't be surprised to see something like that happen for him. But, it just adds more depth to that room because, Garrett Williams, good player. I mean, Star Thomas, has turned into a pretty solid player. And so they've got some good, Max Melton, another good young corner. But, Asante Samuel's only played, 4 years, so he's still a relatively young guy. So that would add some more, some experience and another relatively young guy to that room that provides you with ability and more depth.
Howard, again, congratulations on the Hofstra Achievement Award and great stuff today, man. Thank you.
Appreciate it, guys. Take care.
That's Howard Balzer, brought to you today by All City Towing, which are going to be extremely busy today because you're no, I won't go there. But if for some reason your car has an issue, I got you covered. I'll get you picked up. For instance, if you get to the point where you don't want to drive anymore because of the rain and you want to just pull over to the side,
sure,
have your flashers on, and I'll call City Towing. They'll come pick you up. They'll take you home.
Okay,
to get you out there.
Get those flashers on.
I will.
Yeah, so make sure you do that. But they are the largest towing company in the state, and they are great partners, and we're so happy to have them. They're hiring all types of positions. You can go to their website, allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Coming up, our State 48 Roofing It's Your Call question of the day. Another company that's extremely busy. I think all our partners like Lerner & Rowe and Erect need a check. I mean, this is the kind of day that their phones are off the hook, sadly. But it's good for business. Same thing with State 48 Roofing when it comes to leaks and things like that. Safe48roof.com will give you the It's Your Call question of the day next, right here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Arizona's best law firm.
I think since Kyle and I've been here, we've been, certainly a top 5, I believe, number 2 cash spending team. In the last 5 years, I think or 4 years, going into the 4th year, I think we're the 4th highest cash spending team.
Josh Sweat?
No, this is John Lynch. That didn't go over the way I wanted it to. So this is a John Lynch comment from earlier.
I can set it up.
Okay, sorry about that.
We need to get younger.
But yeah, I do have Josh Sweat. We got a bunch of that if we want to use tomorrow too.
Last year, and I think it's good to constantly get younger. Last year was a great move towards that. We'll have 4 picks in the top 100. If the comp picks happen like we see it, that's always a calculation. We'll have 10 picks overall, and we're excited about adding more youth to a great core of players that we already have.
All right, that's John Lynch, the GM of the San Francisco 49ers. We kind of talked about that earlier in the 1 o'clock hour when we did a little bit of a recap on the NFC West. But Josh Sweat, of course, was just signed from the Philadelphia Eagles to the Arizona Cardinals. About almost an hour and a half ago, he was on with Burns and Gambo on Arizona Sports. And here he is talking about why he believes the Cardinals are close to being great.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And like I said, I've been around Gannon and Rollins. They've won a lot of games. They know the formula. And I mean, like you can like this team doubled their wins from last year, man, right on the cusp of the playoffs, and it's just, I mean, I see it, and I've always wanted to be a part of helping a team get over the hump, and showing my importance, and you know what I'm saying, and what I can bring to a team leadership wise or whatever, anyway. But I want to shine, and I want to help this team, and that's all it is.
$41 million guaranteed helps that too. But yeah, hey, I'm an Eagles fan. I like Josh Sweat, so I think he's a definite improvement. But what else are you going to say? I mean, it's you want to go to a team that's it's going to be a competitor and it's going to be a contender. And I think we all know that the Cardinals are a bit on the fence. And they need more of these kind of guys.
Sure. He's been to 2 Super Bowls. He's got 1 ring.
Yeah,
can help rebuild this. He sees a lot of promise.
Rebuild?
What do they say? Not rebuild, but reset,
retool.
Yeah, retool, reset, whatever.
You don't want to say that.
They're not
rebuild.
They're not reloading. That's for sure. They're not reloading.
All right, let's get to our learner, and that was our learner on 1 call. But let's get to our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day. This was the question, by the way. State48Roofing.com. If you are having any kind of issues with your roof with this rain, with the free agent moves the Cardinals have made this week, what will this team look like at the end of 2025? Your choices are a 500 team, a wild card team, an NFC West division winner, or an NFC conference winner. Those are 4 choices. You could go to Roc and Manuch at X. What are the results right now?
Right now, we have smart people who listen to this show.
500 team?
500 team, 40%.
Okay.
Wild card team, 60%. Division winner, conference winner, goose eggs.
Yeah.
So
I could have figured that out.
Yep,
pretty
much.
40 and 60 is 100.
That is 100.
Okay.
Yeah, I was just helping you.
I didn't need to help. Manuch is a K-State math guy.
Had that down.
And we know that's wrong all the time.
Obviously, he's got an AD that didn't. He doesn't know how to do math.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just kidding.
He missed that math class. If they could get a little more help, I think from, everybody stays healthy. That's kind of the theme. If you have the talent, or Monty Osborne feels has a talent, you fill a couple of holes with a couple of rookies with your top draft choices. I still feel they need a receiver that can take it over the top, maybe another down defensive lineman, maybe another offensive lineman, what's available. And I think with some of the things they're doing right now, they might have an opportunity to maybe trade down, get more picks, and fill more of that offensive line, defensive tackle, maybe another corner. And so, when you get a guy like a Josh Sweat and a Tomlinson and a Gaither and a Mykal Walker to help that defense along and get some good pass blocking, who knows? I mean, I would hope they could at least be a 9-8 team, at least a 9-8 team.
I want them to be a wild card team.
It'd be fun, I think, for a lot of fans in the Valley.
It'd be great. Just
3 minutes.
We know what happens when a team gets to the playoffs in the city. That's good stuff. Real quick, what's on tap tonight? Brought to you by the Roc and Manuch Amber at a bar near you. Kansas at Arizona. Well, they're the home team in the Big 12 tournament. It's on ESPN at 6:30. I doubt the D-backs Mariners tonight at 6:40 will go because of the weather. I can't imagine them playing. They may have already canceled it, but I doubt it. So, and then Suns tomorrow night, they host the Sacramento Kings on Arizona Sports 98.7 and AZ Family 3 TV.
Guys, tomorrow going to be a ride, so you got to catch up with our good buddy Grilling with McMillan, Mark McMillan.
Yeah, another Eagle.
Yeah, he's got a big event out there at the Cookout charity event at the Hotel Valley Ho this weekend. Plus, talk to him about the new coaching addition, Pete Carroll, the new quarterback, what they're doing to improve themselves in Las Vegas. Also, Scott Sprites will get us up
2
to
minutes.
speed with
2
all
minutes.
things going on in the tournaments. And then former NAU head coach Mike Adris kind of break down the tournaments, get us ready for March Madness next week. So a great group of guys for tomorrow at Wright Toyota.
Adris was great yesterday when we had him on.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I did. He's like so dialed in.
For a guy that hasn't coached in 10 years.
Exactly. Even conferences that most people don't even know
Well,
exist. He's dialed in.
That's always been his
Minute
specialty with us, is the fact that he knows the guys at St. Mary's and the smaller type schools. I mean, what's there, 300 plus Division I men's basketball teams, and it's the smaller ones that he kind of knows the guys.
And we didn't realize, we talked to Mitch Stroman yesterday, we thought NAU was pretty much done.
Yeah.
He said probably not. There's 3 or 4 other tournaments that still could be going on.
Well, they're playing in that college invitational or
In
something.
Vegas, there's a big tournament there.
But yeah, I
he said
saw that. It was on their website. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
playing.
But there's probably a couple others he said as well too.
That they could get invited to.
Yeah, and Mike Adris nailed it. He had them all down pat.
Yeah,
You
he
got
did.
this, and this. It's reps, it's opportunity.
It's reps, but is it a catch-22 where you're going to showcase your players so they can steal them in the portal?
They could.
It's nuts.
It's all a crapshoot, Ron.
Hey, we want to thank Howard Balzer for stopping by today, Rick Coro as well, and Eric Williams from the NFL on Fox. Hey, be safe out there
30
driving,
seconds.
especially you, Jimmy B. If you see a little blue clown car on the 101, he'll be in that right lane going maybe 25. Just wave at him when you fly by him and say, get home safely there, Jimmy B. So
thank you, my brother.
Twin Peaks, thank you as
10
well.
seconds.
Don't forget
10 seconds.
fanpick'em.com. That is our bracket contest, at least one of them. We got two of them going on. Everything's up on our website at Roc and Manuch. So for the gang, I'm Rock. Have a great